Amaga, ¿no?
Hello. No, we're live. Hello.
Amaga.
Hello.
Danielira.
How
How
are
are you,
you?
Danielira?
Good, good.
How is
Amaga.
Amaga?
Why were you saying that? I was like, hello.
Amagate.
Amaga.
It's a Colombian word.
No, of course
To
I know what
amagate.
amaga is.
To
But
amagate.
because you always think that I'm gonna tell you, because you never have your mic
No, never.
ready.
No.
So I'm like, you're ready, and you're like, start, and I'll be ready.
Yeah, it's just very true.
And you thought I was kidding when I said
No, I always take
I
you
started.
seriously.
No,
Dead serious.
never.
Dead serious.
How are you?
Very good. For the people that are interested in the meaning of amaga, it would be
Trick? Like
bluff,
trick?
bluff. Maybe?
Okay. I would say trick, but
Yeah. That was, I don't know why I did that sound, but it's like, that's,
Miriam Díaz dice, buenas tardes, mis maestros. Hola, mi lolis.
¿quién es esa persona?
Digo, mi mamá, obviamente.
¡Ah!
Digo eso a ver si de pronto nos alcanza a escuchar.
Claro, para
Y mi
que
mamá dice, Olguita está preciosa.
Olguita, siempre preciosa, igual de preciosa,
La
la
cholibita.
miriancha cholibeña del pueblo del Cholibérrimo.
Ojalá te mejores de la gripa, mi lolis. Un besito.
Entonces está hablando la suegra
Sí, cuando...
de la mamá.
Oye, mira. Cuando dijiste... no, la consuegra.
No,
Dijiste
pues
la suegra de la suegra de
la
la
suegra,
mamá.
la mía suegra
Ah,
de
ya,
la
ya.
mía mamá.
Pero mi mamá decía tu suegra, Coquito.
No,
Cuando
por
dijiste,
eso.
¿quién es esta?
No, ay, Mirianchita, ¿cómo se te ocurre? Es que tu mamá de pronto no está acá para saber que ese es nuestro chiste con las personas que son más cercanas. Que
De
cuando
decir que
escriben
quién es.
decimos, ¿quién es esa
Sí,
persona?
pues sí es un chiste. Pero bueno. Estaba saludando solo para cerciorarme de que mi mamá estuviera
No, felices de que
en el
siempre esté
saludo.
esos 5 segundos con nosotros.
Ujú.
So, Danielira, after we said
Kiro.
hello to your mama.
Yep.
So as you can see, nothing has quite changed. Painting is still en route.
So Elaine was saying, morning all, what's the big change? Elaine.
Oh my God.
As if said, wow.
No, I mean,
So,
one of those two people, as if, or Elaine, completely lost, or like still asleep.
as
Elaine.
if said, huge freaking change.
So now, what did we do? Let's see, because we couldn't stream yesterday. So
Yes.
I either get bolder or I have no clue what I'm doing. I think yesterday was a mix of both, which is not really a good cocktail when you're very bold, but you really don't have a clear direction. But I have my reasons, so I'll try to state my reasons. This was far more muted, so there were changes in hue, I would say, but that was about it. Like if you take a look at the when was that video? Monday's video.
I think
Yeah,
so,
Monday's video.
yes.
If you take a look at that, like when I did the initial block-in, I had this idea of having this accent of red, and I actually put a lot of ochre and then this bit of red for the nose. And as I was modeling, which is always the risk that you take when you're modeling something, when you're modeling form, sometimes it's easy to either move the brush too much or just, start to kind of blur decisions that should be more definitive because you are trying to, give shape to that form, to that particular form. And I feel that while I was doing that, the kind of notable difference that I wanted to have between, the ochres and the green ochres or green-gray ochres, however you want to see them, and the bit of the nose that was going to be this kind of awkward, very foreign accent, I think the intent was there at the beginning, and then while the painting just got, you know, kind of like the gears went into motion, I think a lot of those things were lost. So when I took the picture at the end of the day, that I ended up doing like I think this sleeve and maybe a little bit. I don't even remember. I think it was just this sleeve.
But I think you didn't even
Yeah, I worked
did.
on it a little bit more.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of finished a bit of the sleeve. I don't think I finished that one, or not finished, just went to try and resolve, or initially resolve a bit of the sleeve. When I looked at the picture, um I was like, I don't know. It's not quite there. And Danny, maybe that's why you were sensing that I was a little dissatisfied when I was painting on Monday. And it's not dissatisfied because I don't know, because you know, you think you're doing like a bad painting. It's not, it not always equates to bad or
Mhm.
to something that's weak, or I don't know. I don't know. I think I hadn't fully understood what I wanted to do.
Mhm.
I had things that I wanted to happen in the painting, but nothing was really gelling for me.
Yeah, cuz
It,
I'm
yes,
sorry, I'm
please.
sorry.
No, no,
No, no,
no.
no. I was just going to say that I think that you were not unsatisfied. I
Mm,
think you were like searching. Like
yes.
I could sense that you were like actively searching and searching, and that's why I asked.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe I was just. I knew that we hadn't gotten to the. I'm sorry. I'm gonna try and do this.
Go ahead.
Um, we no, that's not gonna
I
work.
think it's too high too. Maybe you can put
Let's
in.
tape it to the palette.
Okay.
I think that works. That's very our style of
Our professional extension of
yeah, look at
the
that. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
table.
We had to move something upwards just so that we can work on the hands.
Perfect.
But our foam board extension is super warped. So, anyways, no, you're right. I was, you know, I knew that I hadn't gotten to the place that I wanted to get, or that I, you know, the direction that I was searching for, or the feeling that I was trying to elicit from the painting. So, yesterday we couldn't stream, but I kept working. And the first thing I did, I kind of like masked this very irregular shape for the nose. And I
Mhm.
just went in, I almost like dragged without trying to disturb some of like the underlying texture of the
Mhm.
brushstrokes. It's very difficult to do. You have to have like a super soft touch, but a lot of that is involved when you're working on it on an absorbent surface, on a raw surface, that you can, you know, kind of weave your brushstrokes. You know, you can sense the direction of the brushstroke that's underneath, and then place something very lightly on top, and you'll get both. Because
Mhm.
what usually happens in an alla prima painting is that you put something down, and if you're not using any fast drying medium, and you know that would only work if this is like very thin, you can't really start layering stuff. You'll get this, and then you put this one, and then they kind of blend and become one thing. But curiously enough, in a very raw surface, I mean, it's not curious; it makes sense. But the surface becomes so absorbent, and it's actually almost like separating oil from pigment, that you get this very kind of muddy mush that is pigment. Like it's not soaked in oil, but now it's like more, it almost feels like clay like. So it has like a structure to it. So if you're very light and you just try to put something on top, you can get both gestures, which is very cool, I feel. You can see examples here. I wish, you know, eventually when I take a better picture, just make a mental note. And if you see this on Instagram, just look at areas like around here with the hair, and of course like around the nose, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about, like things that you can access. So I had a bunch of things, and I guess I'll try to enumerate the things that I didn't think were particularly working. You know, when we finished off, I was like, I don't know what to do with the glasses.
Mhm.
I was like very frustrated. I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I did something really weird, which was like, I'm gonna make them green. I'm gonna make the frame of the glasses
Mhm.
green, just so that they can connect
Was it with a palette
with the
knife?
shirt. Yeah. So I painted them green, and then I realized, no, it's not working. Like 100%, it's not working. So I scraped it. I was like, I have my moments where I feel that I'm doing something out of anger, but I also feel I can do it. I can do it because it's going to make me kind of head into this more expressive thing of like letting loose and kind of ceding control. So I I scraped it, and a lot of the red and the green kind of came together, and it's very weird. And I was like, okay, this is something. And then I just cleaned up my drawing, which is very essential when you have like such a I guess industrial shape, like some glass. Like glasses are not super super organic, but just
Mm-hmm.
they have like specific planes to them, so they kind of demand of you to be a little
Yeah.
sharp, I guess. So I went with my drawing and I sharpened it up, and I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. But that's when did I do that? No, I think I did that at the in the end
On
of the
Monday?
first session. Yeah, that we went into painting. And I like the glasses. I haven't really touched them aside from putting some little red accents there. So I kept the red because I realized that the green wasn't working. But the green, if you look up here, again, mental note, and maybe you'll see this when we take a better picture, there's some sort of green seeping through that it's like sprinkled. So it's preparing you for some of this greenness. Because
Mm-hmm.
what is essentially happening now is that the painting became about the red and the green instead of trying to juggle the ochre neutral that was greenish, the ochre greenish, grayish neutral that was all throughout the background, kind of seeping in through the head. And then with accents of red and an accent of green, and I wanted to try and see if those red hands would work. I think it was too much. I think it was way way too much. So what I ended up doing this morning, actually, this was early morning for me. I saw the ochre and I was like, no, no, it's not working. So it took me like an idiot while Fed was like in the shower and then getting ready. I cut some tape and I masked like a bunch of like I gridded this and I thought, oh, I'm gonna do like tiles. I'm gonna have the ochre gray be the little kind of cork line between the tiles, and then I painted the I painted the pink, and it looked stupid. It looked so distracting. Like that little grid, it was just. And I thought, no, no, no. What's missing is just like a drop shadow, like a little cast shadow underneath each tile. But then I thought, oh my god, this is like it's gonna make the background so busy, and we don't need busy. That's like what this needs to work is not busy.
Hmm.
So I ended up just, pushing all that stuff together. And then I realized, okay, that's better because we're kind of finally accepting the fact that the painting maybe to work, for the painting to work, maybe, because we're nearing that place. But for the painting to work, for that caprice to work, which is just having this kind of gray green and then this accent, which is not really an accent in terms of value. It's more a change in hue and tiny bit of a change in tiny bit of saturation. It's not like as if I dropped like pure cad red in there, which would have made like an enormous difference. It's just it's almost like same value. Like if you squint enough, the difference is not so apparent
Hmm.
between the ochre, the greenish grayish ochre, and the red. So I realized, yeah, but there's a change in hue that has to be present somehow in the painting. It can't just be that lone moment. And even more so if I want to do these kind of blood filled hands, or like these very very expressive pinkish hands that don't really have like a place. But it's very strange because the colors here look a little jarring, but the only reason that it feels so much redder is the fact that it is some of this red, but it's against a darker
Hmm.
color, and it's against a greener that can serve as complementary. I'm not exactly sure if it's like a perfect complementary.
Yeah, but it pops.
Exactly. It'll make like the green is going to make the red feel redder. Like it's going to push the redness, like concept
Hmm.
of redness in red. So,
And the other way.
and the other way around, exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the pink is going to do the same for the green.
Mm.
So, that's why the same green right here, if you kind of land your eyes here, feels a little bit different, like livelier maybe than the green up here, even though the exact same color is used to paint both of these moments. So, it's a beautiful thing about color. Um, but it it's a painting that um, becomes about the very different things that we kind of have to juggle throughout its construction. And I think that's pretty cool. Sometimes we have like a really clear idea of what a painting is right from the start. I don't think I changed the essence of the painting. For example, of Fer's painting with the sunflowers. That painting was there at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
It like, half an hour into that painting was there.
Mm-hmm.
Into the
Yeah.
initial block, and it's like, okay, yes, that's the painting, period. Some paintings are like that, and other times you have to search,
Mm.
and that's totally fine. I think both lessons are super important. So the ones where you have an intent and it's super clear in your mind, and then it's just about discipline and execution. So you know what you have to do, so do it. Be disciplined enough so you can do it, pull it off. But then the other thing where you don't really know what you have to do is a super, super important exercise in painting, because it is one that is telling you, okay, you may not have an idea, but look for one while you're painting. Kind of like look and listen to your painting while you're doing something, because the answers are going to start to show up as long as you're committed, as long as you're like, let me see if this works. Let me see if this works. And yeah, for sure, those paintings can be a pain in the ass, because sometimes you spend 4 hours saying, let me see if this work, it's crap. Let me see if this work, it doesn't work. Let me see if this work, I
Mm.
don't want to paint anymore. So a lot of the times, yes, those sessions are super, super frustrating, but they teach you to look at your painting, to assess your painting, to make decisions, newer decisions based on what you are seeing. You may find answers that you have not considered, initially, because you just didn't have a way to visualize those things. And honestly, I feel that many times in painting, it's a magical thing, because if I would have gone solely with Fer and the sunflower painting, I would have said, no, painting is there as a tool to execute your intent. It's a powerful tool when you know what you're doing, and you just have to know. You just have to have that degree of control and prior knowledge. So, that's what you need. That's what you need to work on. And then that I would have thrown that out the window if I wanted to do this painting, because there was a lot of this painting that I had no idea. Like my brain couldn't like pre-visualize what was going to work or wasn't going to work until I did it.
Yeah.
So, it's one of those things that I think you have to teach always your painting brain to be ready for those two things. To say, okay, we are prepared, execute. Like, you're ready for this. You know what you got to do. Just concentrate, control things. Be on your A game, and just do it. But you also have to teach your brain when it's like, I am absolutely clueless.
Yeah.
What do I do? Like, and it's not about like, what do I do? And then you're just fumbling through a painting, because that
Yeah.
serves no purpose at
And
all.
also, like, I would say not being blinded by the initial intent when
Right.
you see the painting and you know it's not working.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think it's very important to, like, know and be like a good judge of what's happening with your painting.
Right. Right.
Because sometimes that happens to me, and I think it happens to a lot of people, that we are stubborn and we're like, no, like you kind of don't want to see it. So you keep working and working, and then you realize you've been there, as you were saying, for 4 hours,
Right.
working on something that in the first 20 minutes told you it's not going to work.
You're right. You're right. You're exactly
So
right.
it's super important to like be working, but assess things that are happening.
Hard to know, right?
Yeah.
When one should push because the painting is asking you to push,
Hmm.
and when one should be like, okay, this is clearly not the like this whatever I'm doing is not going to work.
Yeah.
So let me reassess. Like let me, stand back and say, okay, what I wanted to do with the painting is just not working.
Mm.
And I either have to change my plan, like what is my attack plan, then change it, or I have to say, how am I missing in my execution so much that I'm just not able to see like potential in what I'm doing? Because usually, if you have like clarity but you can't execute it, at least you're going to get some little landmarks on your painting that are telling you, okay, no, it may be a little far out of our reach, but if we keep going, like we will make the best out of this possible solution.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a tough thing.
Yeah.
I don't think there's like books that can ever teach you that. There's like nothing can teach you like, oh yeah, at those moments you have to push this, or at these moments you have to like say, no, that's not working. Let me see what
Yeah.
let
Because
me see what
also,
is working in my painting so I can redirect it.
yeah, because also those moments can be completely different in every single painting, like in
Oh yeah.
each singular painting.
Oh, what works very quickly, you realize I think in painting, but in all of art, that what works once doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to work twice.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Painting is that amazing, or just the the wonderful practice of attempting to produce something that has such an abstract origin. You start to realize, and that's why I say like every painting is its own universe, because honestly that's how it is. It's just, I don't know, but that's what makes it exciting, because ideally then, if those two things are very true for the path that we're going to go down, then it kind of means that no two paintings, no two experiences are going to be the same, which means that the adventure is amazing, because every time you sit down and paint,
It's
it's like you've never
unpredictable.
painted. You
Yeah.
know, it's in the same sense that you have collected all this experience from your prior paintings. You also can say that you know nothing.
Yeah.
So it's a very educated lack of knowledge.
Yeah.
I don't know what I just said there, but in my mind, I think it makes sense.
No. Like you can prepare, like you can gather tools to kind of make it easier to like traverse what you're gonna do, but it's not like you could set a plan like step by step,
Not
knowing
always.
what's going
Yeah,
to
not
happen.
always.
I would say not not at all.
Well, we have to accept that there are sorts of paintings that are they rely so heavily upon like a very methodical execution
Yeah.
that they do feel. I think the risk there is that paintings start to feel iterative, and
Okay.
you start to feel like, I solved a problem, let me solve the same exact
Yeah.
problem
No.
100 times.
I get it, and
That
I know
that is
for
not
sure.
something that I enjoy.
No, and I know for sure the paintings you're talking about. So yeah. But yeah, there's no recipe,
Never.
no step by step. Nope.
Yeah. We did something yesterday that was very cool. We can actually talk about this, which is pretty cool. We did another one of our conversation slash interviews. What do we call them?
Oh yeah.
Conversations.
No.
Convos?
A conversation with.
Oh, a conversation with, and we did it with Stephen Bauman. So super cool guy, super nice. We talked for almost 2 hours, I feel. I'm gonna give Danny the vid so she can edit it.
Yes.
And
So that would be an edited video
yeah.
soon.
Yeah. So those are usually just,
A
my
conversation
my
with.
ugly mug right next to Steven's nice face. And no, just a recording of our conversation. And Danny usually puts, enough images so that, we can cycle through them, so you can If you don't know Steven's work, you can check Steven's work out while we're having the conversation. And it was super nice,
Hmm.
super nice. Uh, Cornelia, his wife, who's a
Mm-hmm.
terrific, terrific painter too. She made a small cameo. Said
Mm-hmm.
hi. Iggy the dog. That
Oh.
I just realized that Iggy the dog is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Jotaro. Yeah, 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 it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Iggy
cause
is probably my favorite character.
I didn't do a cameo because
No, you
I
weren't
wasn't in the
here.
apartment. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
you weren't here, but everything's good now.
yes, no, and
Everything's
I'm
good.
so happy that we could have another a conversation with.
Yeah, yeah,
I think they're very cool,
yeah.
and
So,
yeah, I enjoy them. So
we'll let you guys know when that's gonna be
yeah,
ready.
but
But
very excited for that.
yes, yes, super cool.
Yes.
So, Danny Lira,
So
we can say hi, Aurelia.
hi Aurelia.
Yeah.
Nicolas Mijarevic
Oh, number 4.
saying hello guys. Hey Nicola. Norberto Perez was saying hi.
Norberto.
mmborg00. So Monique was saying hi Nicolas and Danny. Hey Monique. Liad was saying hello. Hey Liad.
Liad.
Michelle Gallo was saying hey, watching while at work, assembling insect traps in California.
Wait, what?
That sounds so cool. Yeah, I want to know more about
I
your
need a
job.
So assembling insect traps. So first of all, what sort of insect? Like, what are we? What's the plague that we're trying to get rid of today, please?
I have a scarf
Yeah.
and it just like sheds as if it was like a dog or a cat.
Uh-huh.
There's like tiny threads everywhere.
Oh, it looks cool.
No, because I have them in my mic, so they like kind
Oh.
of tickle my nose.
Oh,
So
so
I'm
you're
just
gonna be
trying to.
sneezing.
Yeah. Woo.
You're gonna be sneezing quite a bit today, then.
Yeah. Elaine was
Yeah.
saying, oh.
Shukri.
Yeah. So
Oh,
this is the
Shukri.
comment at the beginning that we were addressing.
Yeah,
Elaine was saying,
Shukri.
morning all, what's the big change?
Oh, Shukri.
And then Elaine was saying, I'm lost, absolutely asleep, but I'm loving, in all caps, the painting.
Don't try to make up for it. Elaine.
That last I remember was the greenish blue jacket. I'm in love with her hands, Nicolas and Danny.
Thank you so much. Well, we still have one of these to do, but I want to sort of do this little bit of like it's a little still life thing that's, it's a table that has like 2 layers, but it doesn't really matter. It's just shapes. But we need to solve this better, and then we'll move here.
But I have to say, I love that table of your mom.
The
I think it's
actual,
like
do you know, or
I
the
know
one
it.
that's painted?
No, the actual one.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
I mean, you're painting just like I don't know, 1/12.
Oh, yeah,
That
it's
was
nothing, like a
very
little edge, like the little edge, the small edge of the table.
yeah, but I love it because she loves Lego,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like building Lego things.
Yeah.
And I love that this is like her workplace for Lego.
Yeah.
So it's like, this is my spot,
And
my building spot,
do you
my
know
office.
do you know what this is?
This what? An umbrella?
This? No, this here.
Where is? I'm not seeing.
Oh, this here?
No, because I can't see because of the mic.
Oh, okay. So, do you know what that is?
That?
Yeah.
No veo mi coco. Que de todo.
That? Like that frame?
Oh,
You know
was
what
it a
is?
painting of yours?
Yeah, it's a painting.
I think I remember. Yeah.
I have some paintings back home, like this old, like, polyptych that I did.
And it's upside down.
So she asked if she could just borrow a painting, and she flips it. So it's a cradled, it's a painting that's on a cradled frame.
Mm-hmm.
So she flips it. So she puts all her Legos like in there, so they won't like
Yeah, there's like
roll
edges,
out of the.
so they can't escape.
Yeah, it's like a little box, but it's big enough, so that's where she pours all the Legos.
I love that.
But she was like, "Oh, would you mind if I was like, of course, use it for whatever you want." So honestly, best use for one of my
Ever.
paintings
Yeah.
ever. So my mom takes it.
I mean, and to be honest, she's hanging out or she's spending time with the painting in a weird way, but for every single day.
I'm, if I ever felt that my mother like compliments anything and everything I do, ever since I was like 2, if I drew something, she thinks it's the most beautiful, wonderful thing she's ever seen in her life. If I ever get offended by her just using a painting of mine, I would be such an idiot. So
No. Yeah.
this is the person that thinks absolutely everything I do is like majestic. Jesus with a brush,
Yeah.
remember. So, no. So if she wants to use one of my paintings to put her Legos, oh my God, use 100 of them.
Asif was saying in all caps, wow. And they were saying huge freaking changes.
Yeah, I think
They were saying, damn, Nicolas, those hands are popping.
Oh yeah, they're gonna. It was inevitable for them not to pop
Mm-hmm.
because of everything that's surrounding, because all of the notes that we've put down that end up signaling to that moment. So yeah, that was going to happen.
Juan Carlos Martínez Beljosh
Oh,
dice buenas tardes a los dos.
no, nos puso en
Hola,
estas
Juan
otra
Carlos.
vez. No.
No, pero ¿ves lo chévere? Imagínate si se hubiera quitado esa parte del usuario.
Sí.
Yo solo diría Juan Carlos Martínez y no te acordarías de que es Juan
No.
Carlos Martínez Beljosh.
Apenas
Belloc.
sonaste como comiéndote una papa chorreada. Me acordé perfectamente.
Comiéndome una papa chorreada. O sea,
Bellosh.
no.
Como si te preguntaron algo mientras te estabas comiendo la papa.
Y yo dije,
Bellosh.
no, mi amor. Robin Cira West, 13, was saying
Robin
hello.
Cira.
Hello, Robin Cira. Diana Gaming was saying, wow, so nice. Never thought this would come out like this.
Oh, me
Green
neither.
looking so great.
Oh, me neither.
And
Me
they were
neither.
also saying, yes, you're right, Danny. Initial stages. And they were also saying, you guys add tea? Add tea? What?
To the conversations?
You guys had tea? Because
yeah.
then they changed for had. Did we
Oh.
had tea?
Well, I did.
I just finished my second
I did.
matcha of the day.
I just did.
Last sip of tea. Yeah. In your Batman.
Yeah, my mother got me this.
Yeah.
Amazing. So, of course.
Nicolás Olivari
Mm.
dice hello Nico y Dani. Ya estaba esperando esa campana. Una muy buena manera de terminar mi día con el live.
Qué bueno.
Ay, qué chévere, Nicolás, qué chévere que... Me encanta cuando la gente dice como que hacemos parte como de una u otra manera de la rutina de ellos.
Sí.
Me parece súper chévere, pues porque obviamente todos ustedes hacen parte de nuestra rutina todos los días. Entonces, es
¿Dónde
muy
está
chévere.
Nicolás?
Bueno, si dice terminar el día, yo supongo que lo ve acostado en su casa, pero ¿en qué país?
Pero sería lo máximo si fuera como nosotros, las 2 de la tarde, y es como, no, ya hoy no se hizo
Sí,
nada.
ya acaba el día.
Sí, no, hoy no se hizo nada.
Pero mira que tengo una niña que era, ¿no?
Ujú.
Una
¿Dónde la
amiga mía
tienes?
que era de mi colegio.
Sí,
Ella se fue a vivir
sí.
por fuera del país y ahorita está de vacaciones acá. Es que,
Volvió, pues.
sí, no, pues sí, está acá un tiempo, pero sigue trabajando con el horario de allá.
Uy, qué
Entonces
fuerte.
hace poquito subió una historia, como 6 de la mañana, ustedes empiezan el día, yo lo estoy
6 de la
terminando.
mañana en La Habana, Cuba.
O sea, ella tiene que terminar el día a esa hora. Entonces ella dicta clases y literalmente las debe dictar en la madrugada
Uy, qué fuerte.
por Zoom
Sí.
y a las 6 de la mañana acaba el día de trabajo. Yo no haría nada el resto del día, o sea, qué descuadrada de tiempo tan difícil.
Complejo.
Sí, sí, sí.
Complicated.
Además que sé que es de danza, o sea, imagínate uno sacar energía como para estar dictando clases bailando.
Bailando.
Difícil. Marcelo Peralta.
No me diste nada de mi...
Sí, bailando.
Pues no, de mi...
Ah,
Manu
no.
Chao.
Hiciste el otro. Es que hay
Sí.
muchos bailando. Yo
No,
estaba
no, no,
cantando
sí,
la
estaba diciendo de mi Manu Chao.
de tu Manu Chao.
Sí,
¿Qué hiciste,
6 de la
Manu?
mañana en La Habana, Cuba, ¿no?
Ah, sí.
¿Así no es?
No, no es como 11 de la noche en La Habana.
11 de la noche en La Habana, Cuba.
En La Habana,
En La Habana, ay,
pero no
no.
dice en La Habana, Cuba.
No, sí ves, sí, lo volví.
No, ¿sabes cuál estás pensando? La parte que dicen como 8 de la noche en como El Salvador, Son Salvador, algo así. O sea, repiten El Salvador. Espérate a ver y nos salimos de la duda. A ver,
Yo creo que dice La Habana, Cuba.
no creo que dice La Habana. Ah, sí,
La Habana,
12 de
Cuba.
la noche en La Habana,
Ah,
Cuba.
bueno,
Pero
lástima.
bueno, también lo que te digo, 11 de la noche en San Salvador, El
Ujú.
Salvador.
Sí,
Sí, sí,
siempre,
sí.
siempre ponen capital,
Creo que yo he contado esto, pero
pero.
cuando vino Manu Chao a
Ujú,
Colombia,
ujú.
hace mucho tiempo,
30 años.
no.
No.
A ver, espérate, ¿hace cuánto?
No, pues debe haber venido muchas veces.
No, ¿sabes qué? Creo que no tanto. Eh,
Pero
Manu Chao.
comienzos 2000 yo creo que debió haber venido.
Sí, de pronto era por esa época. Bueno, el caso es que Manu Chao vino y yo había comprado un celular. Y cuando compré el celular, me dijeron que esa marca estaba rifando boletas para ir a ver a Manu Chao. Y yo dije, ah, bueno, pues bueno. Me llamaron ese mismo día. Creo que, ¿será que yo ya contesto acá?
Sigue contando, yo
Tú,
creo que,
tú no me has puesto atención, entonces puedo volver a contar.
sí, que no las pudiste reclamar.
Pues me dicen que me gané las boletas para ir a ver a Manu Chao y yo, ¡ah! Increíble, ¿a qué horas? O sea, ¿cuándo? ¿Dónde? Y me dijeron, no, es hoy, a las 6. Me llamaron a las 5. Y yo, ¿y qué tengo que hacer? No, que tienes que venir hasta las oficinas de yo no sé qué, porque era como, creo que era Siemens la marca, o
Que son en La Habana,
sí, no me
Cuba.
acuerdo, o Motorola o algo así. Y era como con un convenio con D2, no sé,
Tipo,
Bell South de
tipo
esa época.
Belsao.
Entonces me dijeron, ve a las oficinas de tal sitio, tienes que traer una fotocopia como al 200% de tu cédula,
Ujú.
una fotocopia del contrato del contrato como cuando compraste el celular, del recibo, de todo. Tienes que traer yo no sé qué cosa autenticada.
Ujú.
Y yo decía, ¿y a qué horas? Y me dijeron, no, y no puedes llegar acá más allá de las 5:30
Y una
porque
mojarra.
cierran las oficinas. Y yo decía, me están llamando a las 5, el tráfico en Bogotá. O sea, ¿dónde voy a ir yo a sacar algo? ¿Dónde voy a ir yo a autenticar de qué me están hablando? Y que tenía que ir. Y de ahí, o sea, imagínate, tenía que ir allá a las 5:30. El concierto empezaba a las 6, Titu.
Digo
O
yo.
sea, yo sé que era una hora desde que me llamaron hasta que empezaba el concierto. Y yo tratando de mirar ahí, yo dije, no, pues no, no alcanzo. Entonces, perdí las boletas. La verdad, yo creo que no querían que yo las usara. Alguien debió ir. De pronto, la persona que me llamó, tienes que estar acá en 2 minutos. Y si no, y no había nadie ahí. Estaban ya en el concierto todos con mis boletas.
Tú fijo, estabas como en vivo en una emisora, suena.
No, 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 porque fue con una cosa
No,
comprando
yo
el
sé.
celular. Pero sí. Em, Javier Ugarte
Ujú.
dice, no he podido visitarlos hace días. Vaya, un saludo afectuoso para ustedes y los viewers. Me encanta esa pintura. Me encanta la pintura, esos complementarios. Wow.
Tan amable, Javier, gracias.
Francisca Sack was saying hello together. Hey, Francisca.
Ujú. Hey, Francisca.
Elaine was saying, we'll be back when on train to work. Oh, we'll wait for you, Elaine. Let us know when you're on the train. Um, Emily Painting Elk
Emily.
was saying, hello, peoples. Wow. I want to rewind to hear the beginning, but then I'll miss the now. The
Oh,
dilemma.
yeah.
I don't know what your plan is, but I'm, in all caps, loving this direction. Screen print vibes. And a green heart emoji.
Awesome. Yeah, some small explanation or an attempt at an explanation happened
At the beginning,
at the
yeah.
beginning. So, but I don't think you're gonna miss anything. It's just
Um,
me trying to verbalize how um sometimes there's a plan and sometimes there is
there is
just
painting.
a new painting that comes after you realize that the plan is not working.
I think my saying was not that bad. Sometimes there's a plan and sometimes there's painting.
Well, there we go. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
pretty bold.
I think it's good. Jakub Truszkowski was
Jakub.
saying, hello, I really like the green color of the clothes. Thank you, Jakub.
Where's Jakub from?
Well, let's
That was my way of asking.
of asking Jakub, yeah. Nicolás Olivari dice, jaja, claro, todo el día peleándome con una pintura. Este es el momento para ver a otro Nicolás pintar y yo descansar un rato.
No, pues gracias.
Estoy en San Petersburgo,
Ush.
Rusia, y acá ya son las 23:26.
Sí, o sea, estaba en el sitio, o sea, el sitio más lejano que no pude haber adivinado.
Sí, sí. Nicolás, ¿y Nicolás de dónde es? Porque si Nicolás habla español me da curiosidad. Nicolás Olivari. ¿De dónde creerías? Yo diría Argentina.
Y nos puede contar qué hace por allá. O sea, es curioso, es un momento curioso para estar en Rusia, pero yo siempre he dicho que pues lo difícil son esas realidades del gobierno, pero pues la cultura de Rusia, la historia, todo lo que aún existe allá, la gente, los artistas. Yo tengo muchísimos amigos artistas rusos que son extraordinarias personas. Entonces,
Dice Johnny Matatiao was saying
mm,
hello.
best last name in show business.
No Fear Zero was saying, you guys think that it's a good time to start learning traditional painting now? I think it might be a good idea considering this whole AI art craze. I did mostly digital for the past 3 years. Might pick up oil painting now.
I don't know if it's a. I mean, I guess it's a question that one could ask oneself. If I was younger and I was thinking, I like illustration, I like, digital work, and my paths can be in the pre production kind of industry for whatever it is, like movies, animation, video games. Um, or if I can just concentrate on the, kind of formal aspect of painting where my path can be academia or my path can be commercial gallery work or, socializing my work through like social media apps and then creating my own store and trying to create my own community slash market. Um, I guess that those questions are relevant when you're trying to visualize what your life may look like, or the direction that you may want to push your life towards. I don't think I don't think it's easy. I don't think any of those is like the right answer in the sense that one of them is going to prove to be easier than the other. Like you're for sure going to find a job in one, but you're going to struggle with the other. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if any of that is true. I think it's going to be tough regardless of what you choose, what you decide to choose. So, having said that and trying to convey that regardless of what one chooses, life is going to be tough.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to say go with your gut. Like just, you know, do what you feel is best for you.
Yeah, and I would also ask, because I think it's cool to like really question why you want to change something, like the way you approach something. So I would ask if it wasn't because of the AI art craze, as you were saying, would you be interested in oil painting? Because I think that's also a way to know if you should or shouldn't start with oil paints. Because if you say, no, I've never, but I just think that with everything that's happening, it could be good. I don't know. Like, at least me, but because of the way I approach things, I wouldn't start something just because of that. Because I would know without starting that I would get bored of it. So, yeah.
And to be honest, like we're still, it's to me this question is probably as relevant as, oh, should I learn how to sculpt, with my hands, like modeling with clay or carving wood or stone? Should I know how to do that? Like, do I want to learn how to do this? Or should I concentrate on ZBrush and just make my sculpts digitally and then see if I could sell these concepts off to people to make custom statues or print or 3D print my own stuff? Like, I would say that what you have in your brain is kind of like it's more in tune with that sort of questioning than with thinking, oh my God, AI is just doing so much of this that I have to find a job that it can't do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think, first of all, I don't think we're there yet. And I'm a staunch defender of technology just pushing art forward, but I don't think we're there. Like,
And oh no, I'm sorry,
yes.
I'm sorry. I'm
No, no, no,
always
go ahead.
interrupting.
No.
No, I was gonna say, and playing devil's advocate. I mean, if it's only because of the fear of AI,
Yeah.
we were talking about the painting, like the painting did from a computer, like the Rembrandt painting,
Oh, the
the
new
Rembrandt
Rembrandt. Yeah,
copy.
that's what it's called, the
Exactly.
new Rembrandt.
New Rembrandt.
Yep, yep.
Exactly. So it might be some change, like a change you do, and maybe in 10 years, then people will start printing paintings too.
Yeah, for
So you
sure.
would have to
Well,
change again.
10.
No, no, no. I'm just saying a number
Okay.
just to say something, or 20 years. I don't know. But then you could say, okay, now I feel comfortable with painting, and then boom, they start printing paintings, oil paintings. So then you, like, if that's your mindset, you would have to say, okay, I have to change again, and I have to start something like from scratch. So,
I think what you're saying is totally true. I think an artist has to be aware of changes,
of
but
course.
but you can't just lag behind and then chase.
Mm-hmm.
I think that as soon as you just when you're lagging behind and then you realize, oh my God, I'm late to this party, and then you're chasing and chasing and chasing, there's going to be so many people that are just going to have a head start that it's going to be super difficult for you.
Mm.
So I find it wiser to just be really aware,
Mm-hmm.
really, really aware,
Yeah, and
like all the time.
that could mean adjustments,
Yeah.
of course, in the way you approach what you do. But I don't know if that would always translate into changing your medium because of fear.
Yeah. And it's just like art doesn't give you enough time, or the professional world, it just doesn't give you enough time to be constantly changing and changing and
Mm.
changing and changing. No, like you either like prepare yourself for that change while you're working on those things that you like, or it's gonna be a little late, I feel. So for example, a lot of people, if you've been painting digitally, what a lot of people in like animation industry do, or they do concept art, or pre-production art for video games. What they do is, like, whenever they can, let's say if they were working on some show or if they were working on some video game, as soon as it gets published and as soon as it goes gold and they finish the project and they're going to have like 6 months off, they are going to, yes, keep up their skills, but also say, you know what, I'm going to use this time to just do that gouache workshop that I wanted to do. And then, you put your concentration on that. just to keep yourself like busy and just to know that you're getting like other skills or you're putting your old skills to test with this new, formal way of resolving painting. Um, so it is kind of like a balancing act, but I do feel it's important to always do that. Always be willing to try those things out.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm curious to see like um, if you had plans that you now feel need to be reconsidered,
So,
and where in your career are you? I was going to ask like, or either how old are you, or if you were still in school, or,
but that
but it's a
could
much better
mean
question
nothing.
to
Yeah.
ask. Yeah, it's a much better question to ask. Like, where in your career are you? Like, are you just starting? Are you about to start? Because that is probably more meaningful than just age, which doesn't quite mean anything.
Yes. So No Fear Zero was saying, I always was interested with painting. I'm a huge Phil Hale fan,
Oh,
and ever since I
aren't we
saw his
all?
paintings, I knew I wanted to try it.
There you
I
go.
always knew it was a bit pricey to start, so I kept putting it off.
Oh yeah. Well, you have an absolutely amazing um, person to look up to because he is just a remarkable artist. He's probably one of my favorite like contemporary artists. So, and I have adored him ever since I was young. So, um,
And about the price, I think it does not have to be pricey.
painting? No,
No, because
no,
they
no,
were
no.
saying, I know it was a bit pricey to start, so I kept putting it off.
Dude, if Phil Hale is somebody you look up to, and I totally trust that this is true. There's a bunch of Phil's paintings that are just wipeouts. Literally, like all you would need is like a surface, some solvent, um, like one color. You could use like an earth brown, whatever that is. You could use burnt umber, raw umber, and you just wipe out. You take a rag, dip it in a little bit of solvent, not just don't have it sogging with solvent, but just a little bit of solvent, and you pick up your highlights, and it's amazing. That's how he did tons of paintings.
And also, I mean, you are very vocal about the brushes we use.
Oh yeah, look at this. This is a Lion Basic
That
brush.
I gave you that
Yeah,
one.
this brush is probably, I mean, 25 cents, would you say? 25 cents
Maybe.
of a dollar,
Yes.
maybe?
And I love them.
Yeah, they're perfectly fine.
Yes. Um so let's see. Maybe I'm going to ask you a question and I would have to step out.
Because of Fernanducci,
Yeah.
or
Yeah. Cuz
the bus is
it's
almost here?
almost here.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So let's see a
Okay, so give it
question.
to me.
Hmm.
Anything. There's nothing?
Well,
I
there's
can.
conversation. No. So, Juan Delgado, it was about the same topic, but maybe you could like expand a
Yeah,
bit
please.
more. They were saying, I live in NL. Is there a way to start cheap with oil painting? So
Um,
I'm not gonna step right now, but
what is NL? I'm wondering.
I don't,
Netherlands, maybe?
I don't know.
Capital N, capital L?
Let's see.
Yeah, because I'm trying to think what else could that be? There's no state.
Yeah, Netherlands, I guess.
I'm gonna say Netherlands, yeah.
Yeah.
Um well, you can find cheap paint. I mean, you're of a place that has Old Holland paint, which is very expensive, but you also have the Talons paint, which is actually cheap. You can find you can't find like what they very wrongfully, I guess, call student grade paint as opposed to professional paint in Old Holland paint. But you can find in Talons paint, you can find, again, I don't like the term, but student grade paint, which is just cheaper paint, a more affordable paint. So you could buy that brand, the Talents, but go for Van Gogh. Van Gogh, that paint is okay. It's actually very affordable, and it's not quite the Rembrandt um, level, which would be their professional grade paint, but you would still be super super fine. You could get some cheap flat synthetic brushes, or I'm saying cheap flat synthetics because those are the ones that are usually more ubiquitous and far more affordable. Those are the ones that you could get in like craft stores as opposed to like painting stores. Painting stores, you're going to find like a ton of brushes. You're going to find tons of shapes, tons of sizes, tons of different types of bristles. You know, some are synthetic, some are natural, some are soft, some are hard. And the difference in, you know, in brush, in the quality of the brush, it may not be super um you may not perceive it like super quickly, but there are big differences between qualities of brushes. And there could be big difference in terms of pricing. But if you go to like craft stores, and if you're trying just to find a way to make this practice affordable, you could go to craft stores and just buy a lot of the brush sets and a lot of the brushes that you can find there. And usually they're very inexpensive. Like, you know, we're not talking like, you know, a price that could be competitive with the cheaper brushes that you could find in art stores. No, these brushes are just like very cheap. So, and they're totally fine. The thing is, they don't last that long. That's the thing. And by saying they don't last that long, it's that they don't hold their shape for too long. Um, so let me see if I have anything around here. Mm, so they get splayed. Let me see. No, this one's fine. So this is like a cheaper brush also. This is a, I don't even know the brand. It rubbed off. But this is a cheaper brush also. So I don't know if you can tell. Let me see if I could look at the screen. So I don't know if you could tell even right here. Splayed means that this part of the brush is kind of leaning backwards and this part of the brush is leaning forward. And I'm going to sneeze. Oh my God, I'm going to sneeze. Now I can't sneeze. And if you looked at it, I don't even know if you guys are seeing that, but you can tell how, you know, how it loses its shape. Um, does it render it useless? No, no. I actually think that for some things where you have to like drag your brush quite a bit more, it's perfectly suited. Like it's very nice still. Like, you know, you wouldn't want to use a new brush, even though they're cheap, but you wouldn't, just for the sake of good practice, you wouldn't want to use a new brush that has a nice shape to, like, you know, kind of forcefully, you know, start to put paint on your surface. That's what, you know, that's what old brushes are great for. You know, they already lost their shape or are losing their shape, so you're not going to feel bad if you just use it to like scumble paint in, like scrub paint in. um so these, hola mi Ferchuchi, ¿cómo te fue? Muy bien. So these, I would say, are very cheap, very affordable, and they have a life, you know, and their life is quite short. But if you're wise, if your use of them is wise, then you can, quote unquote, extend their life, and you learn how to be a little careful with them also. So I think that if you buy cheaper brushes and if you're careful with them, that'll prepare you really nicely for when you buy more expensive brushes, because you already know how to take care of brushes instinctively. So when you buy better brushes, um, well, more expensive ones, let's say, well, they're usually a little bit better. So yeah, I was trying to not say better, but they usually are a little bit better. But when you buy better ones, if you have good practice, you're not going to feel like an idiot if you just ruin them because of negligence. So, yeah, so, you know, you're totally good if you buy very inexpensive brushes. You're totally fine if you buy, you know, accessible paint that, you know, has a good price point. Granted, you're not going to get like the same saturation from some of the professional grade paint. But that's okay. That's okay. Like, fantastic paintings, incredible paintings can be painted with that paint. Don't ever convince yourself that to make a great painting, you need professional, expensive paint. That is simply not true. Like 100,000 times not true. So, um, get paint. And what does get paint means? It means get what you can afford. If you can afford two colors, then do it.
Mm.
Like get it dark and get it light. That's awesome.
Which will also be very good for starting out.
Oh yeah, pure value. Now you're
Mm-hmm.
thinking about value constantly, designing based on value, and that's amazing. That's like the core of picture making. It's just your control and your use of value. So that's going to be awesome. That exercise is going to prove to be super, super useful. You can't yearn for color. That's the only thing I would say, and this is something that I would say in class for a bunch of my students that like you, maybe we're saying, hey, what happens if I can't afford like a lot of things? I was like, I was always, and I always believe this, I still believe this. I was like, there's absolutely nothing wrong, not even professionally. There's a ton of painters, professional painters, successful painters that, you know, that can work with black and white. There's a ton of paintings of Gerhard Richter that are black and white. Of course, they were in monochrome. They were grisailles because he was pointing at the fact that they would come from this, black and white origin photograph. But what I'm trying to say is that it's a fantastic tool in and of itself. You don't need anything else to make, very powerful images. You don't. 100% you don't. What is bad about getting very few materials is the yearning for more.
Mm.
So if you were only able to get a few brushes and just black and white paint, or let's say you got uh, um, umber, like some earth, some like dark earth tone and white, or let's say you can't even, afford that white, and that's totally fine. Never be ashamed of that. That's 100% fine. Um, the bad thing is like you doing like your lift the paintings where you lift instead of you're applying paint, you're just lifting your lights, which by the way, Mark Tansey has made one of the most brilliant careers of painting like that. Mark Tansey, one of the most incredible contemporary painters. Probably the wittiest of all painters, I would say, the most intelligent of all painters, has made a tremendous career from painting with a single color and solvent. Nothing else. Nothing else. And
Mm.
he makes some of the most thought provoking and funny, and it's just like some of the most intelligent paintings I've ever seen in my life. So, the important thing to consider here is that is only going to feel wrong if you are wanting for more.
Yeah.
But if you accept that those are the tools you have, that's the nature of your tools, and you just work within the nature of your tools and you push your tools, then you're going to be so happy, and you're going to realize that, this has nothing to do, with how many colors you can afford, and, are those colors cheap or expensive? Are the brushes cheap or expensive? Nothing. Nothing. Again, if you have any doubt whatsoever of what you can do with very little, like I was saying right now, look at the wipeouts that Phil Hale does, and please look at every single painting that oh my god, I just said his name, and it
Mark Tansey.
Mark Tansey has ever
Yeah.
done. Thank you. No,
No,
it was
you're
just
welcome.
it was there, and then it just my brain
will-
deleted all
That
the
happens to
information.
me
Oh my
sometimes.
god. Look at every single painting Mark Tansey has ever done. Every single painting. I don't think he's ever painted opaque. Ever. Ever. And I saw a show of his. When did I see a show of his? Like it was a Marlboro show, I feel. I don't know how long ago, but amazing. Amazing. And there's paintings of it. There's a very famous painting of his at the Met, that a cow is judging a painting of some cows. They just bring all these
This
like
one.
experts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's at the Met. All these experts. Is it at the Met or at the MoMA?
Maybe
I think it's at the Met.
Let's see.
Could you check, Danny?
Yes.
At the Met, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Metropolitan.
yeah. I remember seeing that painting, and I didn't know who Mark Tansey was, and I remember seeing this painting. I was like, what the hell is this artist? And ever since then, I just kept, started looking for his work, and he's incredible.
I'm
He's
gonna
like
put it on
brilliant.
screen
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so
He's
people can
amazing.
see it.
So it's just like a panel of experts bringing this cow in front of this like very what it seems to be like a French very kind of romantic pastoral painting, and the cow is like judging the painting of cows. It's amazing. And I don't know if you see it, Danny, but there's the dude with a bucket and a mop. I think it's a bucket and a mop somewhere.
Oh, there's someone with a
A
mop.
mop. Yeah, just, maybe the cow is just going to crap all over the floor, so we're ready for this. It's like so perfect. Everything, like all his paintings are so well designed, so perfect. It's just brilliant. And
Yes, and it's not like you see them and you're yearning for.
no,
You're
no,
like,
because
oh,
yeah,
come
it has
on,
nothing.
this with a
Yeah.
like a bunch of saturation.
Yeah,
No,
because
never.
it has that sort of I don't know how you
So
like
here's the painting.
reportage. They have like this reportage feel. It's almost like it's something that a photojournalist would take pictures of, and they would print them in the paper.
Hmm.
It's something like that. Like local cow goes to judge, new acquisition, and that would be in the little town's paper or
Mm.
something like that. Like his paintings have that sort of feel to them. Um, it's amazing, but he totally understands what he can do with like a technique, and what he can't do. But he never ever stays in the what he can't do.
Mm.
He's like, hell no, like I'm just gonna push what I can do. I'm
Yes.
gonna make the coolest of paintings with this technique is providing me with. So it is amazing. It is, I don't know. He's by far one of my most favorite contemporary artists. I do, many times I think of like, oh, my favorite painters, and I go through these lists, and I always like Mark Tansey is always in my brain, but I don't know why I don't bring him up that much.
Hmm.
But if I maybe he's in my top 10 favorite artists of all time.
Hmm.
Like I really do think like he's that brilliant of a painter.
That's why sometimes I say, like, you know what? People asked about our favorite painters. Let's just try to give a different answer because I know that we've had conversations where we're like, why don't I mention this artist
Right,
that I
right.
love? It's like your brain just has like a default.
Yeah.
So for you, it's like favorite Rembrandt. So it's like that. Your brain's like
Yeah, and
in
I tend to push,
autopilot.
right. And I tend to push more traditional painting. Um uh More than maybe people like Tansey.
And you also do I mean, when you do the lists, I
Yeah.
think it's very interesting because I do include a lot of contemporary artists,
Yeah.
and I think you favor. ¿Sí se dice así?
Yep, yep, perfect.
You favor, like,
More traditional ones.
exactly. Yeah, 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 yeah. You do, and maybe that's why you haven't said Mark Tansey.
Oh, we have mentioned him before here,
No, no, no.
but it's not somebody that we
like
constantly,
exactly,
kind of uh, ask people to go check out.
exactly. So let's see the comments. Uh, Emily painting elk was saying Mark Tansey, the monkey crossing the bridge, and a heart emoji.
Oh, it's just he's every single painting. I've yet to see painting like I have so many of his paintings in my brain that are just so they're brilliant. They're so brilliant. I don't know how somebody. I mean, I guess I understand how. It's just because he has that wit. Like he is that intelligent of a painter. But it's just hard to conceive somebody just doing those things that are so funny so consistently. It's almost like a David Shrigley.
Mm-hmm.
The David Shrigley can be very, very funny. Or the Catalan artist, what's his name?
Who?
Joan Cornella.
Uh huh.
Yeah, it's like those people that are just like 1,000% wit, and they can just like pour it on, like consistently push and push and push and push. It's not in the same degree. Like Mark Tansey doesn't push in the same degree as David Shrigley or as Joan Cornella, but they are, I would say, like humor in art and satire
Yeah.
in art. It's such a strange kind of like um, like a subcategory of art, and I
Hmm.
would say there's very few of like good like humor in painting. There is, but it's very few that when you see it, it's like, oh my God, this is perfection. It's so nice to find something that is like genuinely intelligent and funny and thought out. It's amazing.
So no fear zero
Mm-hmm.
was saying I always was interested with oil painting. Uh, and they were saying, let's see, I'm from Croatia. They
Oh,
were
very
saying,
nice.
and they were saying,
They
thank
made
you.
they made the Nations League top four. I feel Croatia.
They were saying, thank you for the answer, guys. I have been doing art for about 3 years and just started freelancing a bit with some commissions.
Okay,
Times are a bit crazy right now,
I
and I
know.
feel I need to slow down a bit and chill. I'll order some paint and brushes now and take it slow and have a good time.
Yes, yes, and the world is like in a very weird place right now. Um, so I often say that we should be very protective of art because I don't know that, like, if you've ever if you have ever been moved by a painting, and not just moved that that you go to a museum or a gallery, or you open up a book and you look at something and you just go, oh my God, this is beautiful, but moved in the sense that a painting can, like, or an image or just a work of art can take you out of a bad moment, or can make you reflect upon something, or just put your brain at ease because you've been thinking about, like, ton of different things that maybe don't have importance, but our stupid brain is giving them importance. Like, the power of just engaging with a strong work of art can be so enormous that we should be very protective of arts. I know that it feels like they're useless. They don't really solve any world issues. But they are quite powerful, I think, in a almost like in a primeval way, in a very instinctual way. And I do think we have to protect that, especially, like, it's easy to protect that when the world is okay, when, there is the usual turmoil, but, everything is kind of moving forward. But in moments like this, where there's recessions everywhere, inflation everywhere,
Mm.
there's, social turmoil everywhere, like everything seems to be like a ticking bomb. It's just like it feels like it's too much. We tend to put, art as like, I don't know. It never feels like a necessity. It always feels like, no, no, no. This I can take care of when I have money, or this I can engage with when I have money. This I can support when I have money, but no way in hell. Like, I'm gonna put it as one of my priorities. But strangely, when the artistic community starts, let's say, suffering, I'm not saying suffering as if we're playing victims, but when the weight of just being in the present is just too heavy for your your local artistic community, or the people that you follow, or the people that you respect. I think there's a sort of chain of events that suddenly kind of is sparked, that you don't realize it, but somebody just saying, no, I'm just, I'm out of this, it's too hard to make stuff right now. You don't know it, but that has ripples that sometimes you can't even, visualize or begin to understand, because maybe younger people that were looking up to that person suddenly say, why did she stop? Like, why is she struggling? Like, her pushing through things is what made me understand that I could maybe at some point push through a bad moment. Or it made me hope that I could one day be like her, or like work really hard so I can kind of share that little bit of life that she's sharing with us. Um, I do feel that art is like, in these moments where kind a lot of people just think of protect your job and think of
Mm.
your bare necessities, and I and you can totally understand why. art is usually forgotten. And all I would say is like, don't ever go out of your way. Like if you're struggling with your own life, like, don't worry. You don't have to, you know, uh, try super hard to support other artists. Don't worry, but just be mindful that they're probably like ours is a community that does suffer a lot from those not great moments.
Yeah.
So just be always aware of that. Just be always willing to like lend a hand if you can, or say like an encouraging words if you can, because it is tough. It is very tough, and when the moments get tougher, it gets really really tough for us. Again, I'm not saying that we can I'm trying to victimize our community, or I'm trying to say that we don't go through the same thing that a lot of people go through. I'm just saying that um, in many ways, the sacrifices that we do when we have to leave our work behind, they feel very heavy. They feel like a very, very heavy thing that only we understand what it means to just say, you know, I I can't do what I love. I have to get a job, any job. And, I'm realizing that getting any job just makes me miserable like every day, and you have to push through those moments, but and we many times do because we're very resilient, but it's just tough. I think it's just very very hard, and it's okay to accept that we usually are a community that gets hit super super hard. So it's important in these moments to say, yeah, like take, if you feel that things are weird and tough, take a break, like and like get your mind in a place that you can, you're okay when you have to deal with all these challenges that you're about to embark on. But always remind yourself there's like this bigger artist community out there that, if not, I don't want to say paid attention to, because it's not like we want to, just leech attention from other people. But I think that artists need like interaction, and they need um people willing to go through the questions that they're going through,
Mm.
and engage in those conversations, and argue and enjoy things that they're enjoying. So it's just a reminder. We often, not very often, try to understand what's happening in the world, in the sense of how, I don't know, how an artistic sensibility can be of use there. And sometimes, it's not easy. Just you get wars that are still going on, like social issues that, for example, what's going on in Iran. It's quite different from what happens in Latin America, but you see so many things that are the same. I mean, we don't have very particular issues that have to do with religious history, but how those you know um, I guess practices of power have perpetuated through decades or centuries, even, how that has created like communities that are just tired, that have just said that's enough, that's it. That happens, and that has happened throughout all of Latin America. I mean, it's not a surprise that only one country in South America doesn't have like a leftist government right now. It's not a surprise that Colombia has the first, you know, president from the left, like far left, ever. So these changes are super tough and weird, and to understand like our role in all of this, it's super super weird. It's super tough to understand why, you know, all these horrible things are happening, and I'm painting my mother. It's just, it feels like such a tone deaf thing at times, and it's very very strange. But you know you almost have to like keep that little um that little flame going. You always have to just take care of that little flame and just keep it alive. Always keep it alive. And maybe the job that we do, and it sounds, I don't know, it sounds ridiculous at times, but it just seems like there's no point to it, or we feel like ashamed that we may still have an interest in painting, when all these other things are going on. But again, think about it as just taking care of this little place that you can go to. It's not escapism, but you can go there and just feel that warmth that
Like a
art,
safe space,
yeah,
yeah.
that art can provide. It's such a necessary thing, I feel,
Hmm.
for us as human beings. Like, it's a place that will protect your humanity, I
Yeah.
feel. And I think that because if we lose our humanity, there's nothing left.
Yeah.
Nothing. So this is just a place where you can just say, let me rekindle this, because if I don't do this, I'm just not strong enough. I just don't have reason for being, or for fighting, or for arguing. Or maybe if I don't tend to this, my priorities start to change, and I just become petty, and I become blind to stuff. And so I would imagine this can be a place, and I'm not saying this as in like, our channel with a video. No, I'm saying this as in, the practice of art. Like, when
Mm.
you find yourself alone in your, workshop, or in your studio, or in your home, or in your little room, and you're working on, on a little sculpture, or you're working on a little painting, or you're working on things that you go like, why the hell am I doing this? Like, what is the purpose of any of this? Like, try to convince yourself that there is something like far deeper going on, that the fact that you as a human being are still tempted to go there and search for something and work through this, painting, or sculpture, or drawing, whatever it is that you're doing creatively, the fact that you are, something is pushing you to go there, it means that for us, deep down, this is important. Like,
Mm.
deep down, there's something really important about this. And we have to look out for it. So I do think that we can do this individually by looking out for that practice that provides us with, like, a clarity and like a peace of mind. But we could do it collectively, in the sense that we can take care of each other as much as we can, and help can come in many ways. Help can be, support your friend. If you can buy, like, oh, this month's patron, I'm going to pay for that because I can afford it now, because even though I have a shitty job, like, I have some $10 to spare, and I want to pay this, person. She does incredible content, and every time I hear this content, like, it's uplifting, and it helps me go to work every day. So I'm gonna support her by doing that. Or it can just be like saying, oh, I'm just gonna leave like a cool comment on this, and just, or I'm gonna send a message that maybe they'll never read, but I'm just gonna tell them how important they have been in my life,
Mm.
and how much I cherish these moments, and how much, I really understand that I need this company. I think all of those things, which are very true in any moment of our lives, I've felt those ever since I started studying art. So I have, like, I would say my life is just a collection of all those beautiful moments of, being part of the, like, this sensing that you're part of, like, this bigger, ancient community of people that, do like their practice in art. Um, I think that, again, I hope I'm not sounding like preachy, because that's not the point here. But I'm just saying, like, how, I don't know, how important those things are. Like, little things. They don't have to be big things, but how really, really important big those little things, little gestures are. So just be mindful of those things while the world is like falling apart. So, anyways, that was my rant for today. Thank you. Goodbye.
For today,
Yeah, yeah.
for
Tomorrow I'll
this
have a
half an hour.
for tomorrow I'll have a new one,
No.
probably about football. So
Elaine was saying, what you say is so true, Nicolas, about the reality of survival. And I'm so glad I have this community to lean on when I'm down, or to support others when I can. And some heart emojis.
very nice.
And Emily Painting Elk was saying, I second that, Elaine. I agree, Nicolas, about the art being one of the threads holding humanity together. I believe we need it more than ever. Emily was saying, I agree. The creative people I follow give so much light, optimism, and inspiration to me. Without it, I would feel a lot more bleak. Art makes us re-fall in love with life.
Yeah.
Nicolas Mijarovic was saying, I'm often struggling with the quote unquote use of art, so this is a super interesting discussion. And Nicola was also saying before, is there like 50 people from Croatia here?
I
Haha,
know.
I'm so glad.
We gotta go. We have to go now.
50.5.
Yeah.
If
Zagreb.
If you add me, because we were saying that I have to be, or I had to be in another life.
I think
At least half Croatian.
I think you could pass off for Croatian 100%.
So
some flowers in your
50.5.
put some flowers in your hair and you're good.
Flowers in your hair. It's like
I don't know.
when
I'm
people
going like stereotypical here.
Exactly. It's like if someone said, "Oh, I'm gonna use a sombrero volteado as a hat,"
I think
and I'm gonna
I
be
don't think they're
Colombian.
offended.
No,
I
no,
don't
no,
think
no.
it's a celebration.
No, but it's like
a very
well,
stereotypical.
and then you go to the street and everyone's like,
Yeah.
"Why the hell is
Yeah,
she
look at
using
this crazy
flowers?"
tourist with some flowers in her head.
Yeah. Mm,
Until they go like, "Oh no, it's Danny, Danny,
Nice.
Danny." They carry on your shoulders. You know, they name like a trash can after you.
a trash can.
Yeah.
Well, at least it's something. So, no, Nicolas, I'm loving the scarf, but
Take it off.
I
I
look
mean,
like a
I don't know what you're
salpicón.
wearing. I'm sorry.
I
I
mean,
don't know if it's like take it off and it's like naked Danny.
No, of course
It's
no.
like bathtub streams.
So I went to pick up Fer,
Yeah.
and it was cold.
It's
So,
it's about to rain. I
it's
mean, it's gonna rain
terrible,
in
yeah,
like half
and
an
it's
hour for
windy.
sure. Yeah.
It's windy too.
There's
So
like no light outside.
so
So
I put the scarf on,
yeah, good.
but it's good. It's like warm. But every
Which
time
one is it, Danny?
the new one, I don't
No,
know. The
It's
only
good.
one
I think you
have.
said cold, windy, and then you said, but it's warm.
Not.
Or the scarf makes you
I
feel
said
warm.
I put the scarf on,
Yeah, to feel
and
warm.
I was no. Let me say. I was
Shut
saying.
up, Nicholas.
Yeah, please.
Shut the hell up, dude.
But I was saying it is warm,
Yeah.
so I want to keep it on.
Okay.
But then I start feeling like every single thread, it's like little hairs
yeah, you're
everywhere,
getting.
like flying in the mic, in my mouth, in my nose.
Yeah, you sound stuffy also.
No,
A little bit. Well, I'm just saying.
no, really?
No, like stuffy from the hairs of your scarf.
Nah, no, now you're trying to fix it.
Well, no, that's not a bad thing. If you're
No, but
it's
I'm
almost
not.
like having like a little allergy from the scarf.
No, Fear Zero was saying, thank you guys for the encouraging words. No, I'm gonna take it up. I have to like wash the.
Hadn't you did you take it off like a bit ago or what did you take off? Your sweater? Something?
Nothing.
Nothing?
No, I don't know what you're saying.
I don't even know.
Carla was saying.
Carla Anglado?
Carla Anglada.
Anglada?
Yeah.
Isn't it Anglado?
No, Anglada.
I'm sorry, Carla. Carla.
Carla
Lo
Anglada
siento, Carla.
was saying, I know watching these live streams and painting help with relief of my diagnosis of PTSD.
Oh, well,
Oh, Carla, but
you know, it's beyond what we could do, but we're super
but we're-
happy that that
exactly.
can be helpful.
that you can find this as a safe space for you. That's amazing. Skravamatsu was saying, I love that in the edited videos we get a deep dive into the process and I get to relate a lot to the struggles of Nicolas. But I don't think that's only of the edited videos.
Yeah.
I would even say
Oh, my struggles I think are laid bare here.
yeah, I was gonna say that in the edited videos
Yeah,
you could
sometimes
see like a struggle free execution because you were like talking about the struggle but after the struggle happened
yeah, after
so
the
people
fact.
exactly people were now like not conscious about when you were struggling at the moment and how you thought you wanted to stop painting because you hated it,
Oh
and
yeah.
then it was like a roller coasters. So, oh, and they were saying, and in the live streams, I get to relate to him for his ADHD energy.
What? I don't know. I think this is the first time somebody called or said that I have like ADHD. Do you think I have ADHD?
No.
Yeah, I don't
Well, I
think.
think you have you. I mean, I
I
think that's like a diagnosis.
yeah.
It's not like
Okay, but let's say in the what do you call that?
trying to see maybe the common.
Yeah, in the more general use
So
of
I
the
would say
word, in
no.
the more generalized use of the word, I would say you'd be surprised. I'm very I don't I don't even know of many things that can like take my mind like that can challenge my peace of mind. Like, of course, there's dumb stuff that if I'm playing a video game and I die 1,000 times to the same stupid boss, I'm going to be cursing, or I'm going to be cursing like yesterday. Colombia was playing a horrendous match and we were losing 2-0, and it looked as if we were going to lose 10-0. And we actually won 3-2, by the way. We beat Mexico. Um, yeah, I curse up a storm for sure. But the only thing I think that I carry with me has to be stuff that, when I'm not happy about a painting, like I'll go to bed and I'll think like, oh, why am I not happy? Why didn't this work? And what can I do tomorrow? But it's never like, I don't know. It's never like it challenges like the order that I find necessary to have peace of mind.
N-
No, I think I'm.
no, but because ADHD is more about attention, like attention spans and like hyperactivity.
But weren't they?
And
Did they say ADHD?
yes,
Oh, that I have none of, by the way.
exactly. That's why I was
No, I
saying
thought I thought they were saying what do you say?
OCD.
OCD.
No, no,
Oh
no. They were
no. Oh
saying
crap,
ADHD. Yeah,
my brain was thinking OCD. No, ADHD. Oh, I have none.
yeah. That's why I was
No,
saying not
like
at all.
not at all.
Because
Yeah.
I would say, I mean, because it talks about like attention deficit, which I think you have not. Like you
No.
don't have at all.
No. Imagine somebody with
Hyperactivity.
ADHD trying to do 24-hour streams of painting,
Yeah, or
like the one we're gonna do at the end of the
like
year.
painting while talking,
Yeah.
while answering questions. While yeah, so I think no.
Yeah. Thank you for your diagnoses, but no.
Yeah, not at all.
No, 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 no. I was very let me share with you what I knew I had at some point. I was very anxious. I had anxiety from, I don't even know what to call it.
Just anxiety.
Yeah,
I
but
think
I
anxiety
think
can be
mine
triggered by
yeah.
many things, but it's just anxiety.
Yeah, but mine was like I could recognize the trigger, and it was like the exaggerated, the sort of distorted perception, the idea that people had a distorted perception of me. And because I was a teacher, that, you have like 20, 25 eyes on you. So if that gets in your brain, that's like, ugh. And I remember once I had like I have talked about this, like a terrible panic attack. I didn't even know what that was or what that felt like until I felt it. It was horrendous. Um, but I have to also say that um I kind of learned not how to keep it under control, just knowing that those feelings can be there, but I kind of feel that they are there and they're not harmful. They're not really harmful. And so I remember at first I was very tough on myself, like saying, "Come on, you got to get through this." Like I was just kind of almost like scolding myself, like, "Come on, it's like you're weak. Like no, don't let this like beat you. You're stronger. You have to push through." That never helped me. I mean, if it helps other people just to like push, great. It never helped me. And it only helped me when I realized like, oh no, this is like, just a regular part of my life, and I'm going to feel like this, and it's okay. And sometimes it's going to be a little worse, but if I learn how to just like ride it and just say, okay, I'm a passenger in this and I'm just going to be here until it subsides. And know that it does subside. Like it, only I can decide to make it bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and then to the point where it's not bearable. Um, I realized that super quickly, and it was like, okay, I know how to help myself. I can recognize how to help myself, and I was, I'm not saying again, I'm not saying I am free from that, but I'm saying that for years, years and years and years now, and I've been doing like I have to do like like speak with I've never been bad with like public speaking or with having to do demos or workshops in front of people. Never. It's more as if like the stuff that I have to bear is like inside, but it never quite manifests outside. Um, but I have to say that for years now, I've been like super calm. Like there is nothing. That's why I always speak about like the how priceless and how invaluable like having just peace of mind is. It sounds like such an abstract thing, and it sounds like such an almost like an old person thing, or like a hermit thing. Just peace of mind, like free from worries. It's not about not having worries. You're always going to have worries, but it's just this kind of, I don't know. I'm very constant now. Like I've reached a place where I don't know of many things that can take me out of there. Like I don't know how many things can really break me and make me super mad, or I can be like super sad. No, I'm like in the middle now. And I don't know, for me at least, that's like the best place I could ever hope to be. So yeah. Yeah, no. I would say I've never even come close. I could, if I'm being super honest, and this is not, and I'm saying I'm talking about my anxiety and like that panic attack. Um, just to, kind of say that it's not that I'm free from things or I'm better or worse. No, no, no. But I've never felt what, not even remotely, what's people that have ADHD could go through. I've never gone through any of that
And
for
also, I
sure.
would have to say, because I think it's very important to be um, very mindful about the conversations of mental health.
Yes.
Because I think that what translated in you as anxiety is not what anxiety is for many other people that maybe need to be medicated all the time.
Yes.
So, as you were saying, you were able to do something that does not make you like better or worse or whatever, but
No.
it's the way you handled
Yes.
that.
With help also. Of course I'm going to say
Yes.
that I
No,
needed
no,
help
no.
at that time.
Yes, but at that time, that's what I'm trying to say. Because I
Yes.
think that it's also important to acknowledge that there's a lot of people that have anxiety or that have different conditions that have to be treated
Oh
by
yeah, yeah.
by a doctor.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
of
not
course.
something that it's just like learn to know your body. No, of course not. So of course it's not what you're trying to say, but you're trying to talk about your
Oh,
own
I'm only
experience.
sharing my experience.
Yeah, no, no,
Yes.
no. It's just that when it is about mental health conversations, I think it is very important to like you were very clear with it, but I want to emphasize in the fact that it was your own experience. It's not like you're talking here about
No.
how
Oh, for God's
something
sake. No,
should
no, no.
be
No,
or
no, no.
shouldn't be.
No, like they say, I'm not a doctor. Consult your physician.
Well, no, you're a psychologist or a psychiatrist.
Well, or yes, yeah, however road you want to take. But go to your doctor.
So, Yutaki001 was saying, "Hi, Nicolas and Danny. I have been diagnosed with ADHD." Hey, Yutaki. Mm,
If you can in words, I'd be super interested like to hear how you could describe it to somebody that, I mean, I've seen what I would guess the caricature of ADHD that is portrayed like usually in the media, or you hear people.
but
But
that's never.
yeah,
I
I always
mean,
feel that those are the very exaggerated ways of describing something like that.
or not
That is far more
exaggerated, because
complex.
it could be like it could be the case for someone, But I don't think it's just the only way it manifests.
Right. But
Like in that and in every single thing that they portray, like that they do have like this version of what they think anxiety or uh, like a ton of things look like. They don't have to look like that.
right.
So
But I was gonna ask Yutaki if they could explain, if they can, if they want, if it's something, but how that feels, how that, like, when that happens, like, you know either how do you deal with that, or how does it feel, like, for example, the feeling for me in anxiety was just something that it almost feels like a feeling that you can't overcome. You physically, sensibly, you feel like you're in a place that it's like, okay, this is impossible to overcome. Like, this is swallowing me up whole. It's almost like when people, they tell you you have to swim against current, and you get to the point where you realize, I am just gonna, stop, because I don't have enough strength to swim against this current. It's almost like that big. So I'm wondering how that feels, because I didn't want to be ignorant. I'm curious about this because I didn't want to be ignorant when somebody said, "Oh, I see signs of ADHD," and I'm like, "Oh no, that's just simply not, because I know it's objectively not
yeah, but
true,
I
but I don't want to
think,
be offensive as saying, "Oh, no, 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 like that's, oh my God, no, that's not me."
but I think,
I yes, Danny.
that it's like the question you're asking. It's kind of I think it would be complicated to
I know, I
answer.
know.
No, no, no. But just because I think anxiety and ADHD manifest in very different ways, because anxiety do have episodes.
Yes.
Like you do have episodes of anxiety. But from what I know, ADHD is something that's just ongoing.
Right.
So it's not like you have an episode, as you were saying, because I think anxiety is characterized
Characterized. No, no, you're good. You're
characterized
good.
by those like very clear episodes that you can know you're having, like it even has a name, a panic attack.
Yeah.
But with ADHD, I think it's different. So I don't think maybe they could answer to something specific that they feel, because if it's something ongoing, it's just the
You're right. You're
way
right.
they,
Totally right.
yeah. So I just think, yeah, I don't think
This is
that's
me
just
prying always.
let's see. Yutaki was saying, okay, Nicolas, my mind feels at rest most of the time. I draw and paint and like to research the nature of light. I write a lot. I use the diagnosis as a force of good in my life, a positive influence, like the people behind Escape the Nightmare show do. Swim against the current. Sometimes I change the current.
Oh, very nice.
Uh,
I don't know the show
Escravamatsu.
they're referencing. What was that?
Escape the Nightmare.
Oh, I don't know this.
Skravamatsu was saying also ADHD here. Skravamatsu was the person saying that they were into like the ADHD energy in the live streams,
Okay.
and they were saying also ADHD here, and it's less than a thing that comes and more a general way of how the mind works, like forever. Yeah, like Danny was saying, there aren't episodes.
Right, right.
And Yutaki was saying, Nicolas, I think the reason for these ADHD diagnoses are happening is because the human brain has started to expand from the center. And Yutaki was saying, Nicolas, if you look at my painting of St. John, you can see how he's having a panic attack. But what he fears is also being shown.
Oh, I'll look at that. Thank you. Or can you send it to Danny?
To my well, if you do have an Instagram, you could send it to my Instagram, which is right there. So let me just make it blink so that you can see it. Julia dice, hola.
Julia Marina.
Julia, voy a leer cómo escribió Julia con las tildes.
Ujú.
O sea, voy a hacer acá
No, esto es
súper.
con regaño. O sea, no llegó y ya la regañaron.
Dice, hola, Uf, esta pintura. Y dice Viridian is live. Hola,
Oh,
Julia.
nice. ¿Qué hubo, Julia Marina?
Mm, so let me go back to
Life.
the questions. Where was I? Juan Carlos Martínez Belloc
Ujú.
dice, a las 6 de la noche, Habana, Cuba, probablemente siga un apagón que, que habrá durado más de 24 horas en todo el país por lo del ciclón que recién pasó.
Uy,
No hay
sí.
heridos reportados, pero sigue el país entero sin luz.
Bueno, pero
Ay, ¿Y Juan Carlos tiene todavía familia en Cuba?
lo importante es que no haya pasado nada grave. Que normalmente, bueno, cuando le pega a Estados Unidos también puede ser catastrófico, pero normalmente a las islas del Caribe pues les da durísimo.
Parting missed regarding No Fear Zero's question
¿Ya?
about changing from digital to oil paints
¿Ya?
was saying No Fear Zero. Not sure if it's a good time to do it or not, but I know I'm doing it. Traditional art is really fun, so I do it anyway. You do digital art right now or getting into it for the first time altogether? Uh, and they were saying that's what's up. Digital is really fun. I done a bit of digital, but mostly watercolor and soft pastels. I dabbled in oil a bit, but for me, the soft pastels and watercolors were more enjoyable. It's funny you mention because I've been thinking of spending more time doing digital. Something about being able to keep going without the surface giving up on you is so appealing. And they were saying,
Oh yeah, that and not having to clean any brushes. Oof.
they were saying, well, they were also saying that. So,
The cleaning?
yeah, they were saying so true. Canvases and paint. Canvases and paint are made expensive. Can use canvas paper for practice runs to keep the cost down a bit. For me, the reason I don't oil paint often is because it takes so long to clean up.
Oh,
LOLs.
yeah, tell me about it.
They're also saying soft pastels. I set them out like in 2 minutes and put them up in like 5. So that ends up being a big deal for me. LOL. And they were saying the main reason it takes me so long to clean, like 15 to 30 minutes, is cleaning brushes.
Yeah, doesn't take me quite that long, but I have never enjoyed it. Never. Now I just put some like whatever podcast I was listening to. I just always take my phone, my headphones to the bathroom, and I just I clean them. I wash my brushes there every single day, every night, every single night.
Julia dice, jajaja, esta. Ah, no, esta. Dice esta.
Sí,
O sea, esta pintura.
sí,
Y
sí.
dicen, disculpen el autocorrect. No, tranquila, Julia. Yo acá molestando. ¿Qué hace la Julia ahorita? Juan Carlos Martínez Beljosh dice, 2 hermanos menores, protestando porque no tienen internet y mi hermano no puede jugar online, pero bien, se les descongelará la comida, pero bien. Gracias por preguntar, Dani. No, ¿qué
Bueno.
tal, Juan Carlos?
Y lo importante.
Siempre pendientes.
Lo importante que pues sí, el juego de Call of Duty importante, pero mejor que no haya pasado nada grave. Lo otro puede esperar.
Aunque completamente entiendo porque yo creo que esa sería la reacción de Samu.
En esta casa el no tener luz por unos días sería complicado.
O sea, se va el internet y ellos se dan cuenta al segundo.
Sí, sería...
O sea, siempre estamos en el cuarto y golpean como...
¿Qué pasó?
Es como, ¿qué pasó? Se fue el internet.
¿Papá no pagó?
Let's see. Mm, a ver, ¿dónde iba? Mm, so remember you were asking that you were curious where Jakub Truszkowski was from?
Yeah,
They answered.
Polish.
They're from Poland.
Oh, I was gonna say
Yeah.
Polish. I was gonna say Dzień dobry at the beginning, but I was doubting myself.
Your only Polish word.
Hey, don't
I'm
hate
sorry,
on
I
it.
was talking in a.
Don't
What?
hate on it. Don't hate on it.
No, 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 not on it. On you. I'm joking. Mm, Ignacio Casas pregunta:
Mm.
¿Usted considera artista a quien solo piensa su obra y no forma parte del hacer manual?
Sí, también, ¿no? Toca. O sea, no me da no siento que eso me amenace, como que no siento que aceptar esa idea de alguien artista, digamos un Damien Hirst que manda a hacer unas pinturas o Jeff Koons que manda a hacer unas pinturas o como hablábamos el otro día de Mauricio Catelán que tiene sus escultores y con el escultor francés,
No
¿era?
me acuerdo bien la nacionalidad, pero sí.
Mm,
Sí, sí,
con
sí,
el que
que
lo
hablamos
estaba,
sobre
quien lo estaba
el...
demandando que no, pues yo incluso en ese momento decía que no había como mucha base para esa demanda y creo que después leímos que no, que perdió la demanda, o sea, el escultor, quien le hace el trabajo. No, yo sí,
¿Leímos eso?
yo lo leí
Creo
después.
que tú, sí,
Sí, sí,
porque yo
sí.
esto no lo
Sí,
sabía.
esa demanda no siguió, no la pudo ganar.
No, es igual lo
Le
que
dieron la
decíamos.
razón a Catalán.
Pues sí,
Es
es
que
que
era
sí
muy
firmó,
fácil, era muy
sí
fácil.
firmó,
No, si no firmó, ese era el problema, no firmó nada.
o bueno, pero sí le pagaron por un trabajo, no, porque es que si no recuerdo mal, el problema era que él dice que a él le pagaron una cantidad de plata
Listo.
y le dijeron que lo iban a mostrar en tal lado.
Sí, pero eso,
Y después de mostrarlo en tal lado, lo llevaron como a una bienal o a una galería mucho más grande, donde después se vendió por más plata y él estaba pidiendo más plata. Porque él
sí,
decía,
pero,
yo la hice por este precio pensando que iba a ir a este sitio solamente y terminó en otro.
sí,
Pero
pero,
ahí entonces después tú y yo terminamos hablando de lo que es como el mercado secundario en el arte.
no, y que pues sí, sí, pues entonces firme un contrato que diga, voy a ganarme un porcentaje de la venta final de la obra, cualquiera que sea, o que si está en posesión de ellos y se revende la obra, entonces quiero también tener un porcentaje
Que
de eso.
igual eso yo creo que no hay ningún contrato así porque sería muy difícil uno conocer. O sea, imagínate, uno manejaría entonces
No, por eso, si está en
todo el
posesión de
mercado.
ellos.
Sí, pero
No, no, pero por eso, eso es súper complejo, pero eso es como tener regalías.
sí, sí, sí.
Es como lo que pasa mucho en como la música, digamos.
Sí, pero en el arte nunca ha sido así.
No, no es normal encontrar eso. Pero pues yo desde que oí esa historia decía, no, pues lástima a este señor, pero pues si hubiera querido todo eso, pues todo eso tenía que haber sido acordado desde el comienzo. Eso
Mm.
no hay ninguna otra manera de que eso prospere.
No me acuerdo bien, pero creo que también pedía que saliera en la lámina,
Es que quería
como
crédito,
Mauricio Catalán y
quería crédito, sí. Pero de nuevo, o sea, el artista no tiene, si es una relación laboral y uno le pagan por haber hecho tal cosa y nada queda por escrito, como, oiga, me tiene que dar crédito. Es como, no le tengo que, yo lo contraté para este servicio y ya.
además, quién sabe si, porque si también esto es algo que como que se pregunta a posteriori. Es como, uy, estoy viendo que esto lo van a mostrar en tal lado.
Sí,
Oiga, ahora tiene que darme tal
lo que
cosa. Y es
hablábamos, o
como,
sea, con un artista que no es exitoso, a nadie le importa.
sí,
Richard Prince decía que cuando él hacía estas cosas pre-robarse, digamos, robarse o medio apropiarse las fotos de Instagram, em, que él decía, cuando yo hacía estos ejercicios y nadie me conocía, a nadie le importaba.
no, pues claro.
A nadie le importa. Apenas empieza el artista a tener reconocimiento o a vender la obra
Sí, a
como por
mover
un
más
precio que ya la
plata,
gente dice, un momento,
que la gente empieza a querer tajada, como
aquí
dice uno
puedo
acá.
demandar, sí, aquí puedo demandar.
Sí.
Ahí es cuando la gente se interesa por como ese tipo de cosas. Pero no, obviamente, yo creo que ese debate ni siquiera vale la pena. No, pues uno les dice artistas y ya, obviamente. Que sea un tipo de arte que a uno lo conmueva o le interese o le llame la atención en algún nivel, pues eso ya es para cada quien decidir,
Mm.
pero yo no creo que quite nada. O sea, el que uno les diga artistas no sé, no quiere decir nada. Hay suficientes artistas que hacen, que ellos, ellas mismos hacen su trabajo y son unas personas o unos artistas horribles, entonces, ¿qué importa? O sea, el que uno diga que alguien es artista no quiere decir nada.
Eh, nos contaba Nicolás Olivari
Sí,
que nos contaba que está viviendo en Rusia.
sí,
Eh, dice, exacto, Dani, soy de Argentina. Yes.
argentino.
Y dice, estoy en Rusia porque estoy estudiando en la Academia Imperial de Repin. Nicolás, exacto. Yo estoy acá hace 4 años ya. Toda la
Sí,
política trato de ignorarlo y apreciar los demás aspectos de Rusia, que es un país hermoso con una cultura riquísima.
sí, sí, uno tiene que acordarse de eso. Es tan difícil, pero,
¿Y qué tal es estudiar? Yo quiero saber en la Academia Imperial. Me da curiosidad. O sea, quiero saber de primera mano.
eso es increíble.
No, pues por eso
Sí,
pregunto. O
esa
sea, porque me
academia es
parece
como congelada
increíble.
en el tiempo.
Sí, pero igual me parece, o sea,
¿Tú nunca conociste a Natalia Salcedo Grebechova?
mm, no me suena.
No.
Pues sí, sí, pues no me acuerdo, perdón.
Sí, no sé, es que no sé si alguna vez estaba yo contigo cuando de pronto estaba ella o no sé, alguna vez fue a Blanco o algo,
Mm,
Natalia.
o sea, si la conocí de pasada, quizá.
Súper querida.
Si la conozco, o sea, que yo diga, ah, no, pues no sé.
Sí,
No,
Natalia
la
es
verdad no.
increíble.
¿Y
Es
ella estuvo allá?
de las personas más amables, más lindas, o sea, las personas bonitas que yo he
Ujú.
conocido en mi vida, súper talentosa. Y Natalia estuvo allá, me estoy tratando de acordar si estuvo como año y medio, 2 años de pronto, algo así, allá. Sí, súper chévere.
No, pues claro. Cutie Sketch was saying hello. The painting looks great.
Thank you.
Em, Fernando Civils Ferrer dice buenas, buenas. Hola Fernando, ¿qué
Buenas,
tal?
Fernando.
Mm, Juan Delgado was saying, why did you put 2909? I was confused for a bit. Yes, it
What did
was
I
my
do?
bad. No,
Oh,
no. I changed it in
oh, the date?
the date I put 29. But it's funny because maybe it said like big changes 2909, like something was gonna happen tomorrow.
Oh,
No, no.
oh no. I mean, we're trying to change our diet. Maybe that's a big change.
Yeah, but that's not something happening 2909.
Well, that's going to be tomorrow's lunch. So yeah, I can't wait to know what we're going to have for lunch. It's very exciting.
We had good. I think I did an amazing, because I would say amazing
Sauce?
sauce for the
Yeah.
pasta today. I did. I mean, it's not. It was not bad, but we bought. ¿Cómo se dice arvejas?
Pea?
Pea.
Not
It's
pea
like
as in, urine.
no, of course not. Like the grain,
No, peas are not grain.
the vegetable,
What are pea? Legumes? No?
legumes. I don't know.
What is a sweet pea? Like peas, green peas. What are green
Legume,
peas? Legumes.
legumes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it was only. It was not. It was a pasta made of pea flour.
Mm-hmm. I thought it was good.
No, it was not bad,
I
but
actually thought it was quite good.
you enjoyed it.
The thing is I love green peas.
No, I think they're good too.
Yeah, so
But I think that with another pasta,
yeah.
it would have fit perfectly. Because
You
I
know how they're
saw that.
kind of grainy, the peas?
Hmm.
They tend to be a little grainy. Like I felt some of that graininess, like sandiness, earthiness to it,
Oh yeah, because the
maybe.
cool thing of that pasta is that it does not have anything else as
Right?
an ingredient. And I saw they have a ton of like a different variety of uh flavors.
Yeah.
So we have red lentils here,
Beautiful.
We bought it. We haven't tried it.
No.
There is corn,
Red lentils
red
also.
lentils. Yeah.
Is that a variety? Is
Yeah.
that native to us? I've never had red lentils. I've had lentils, like Colombian lentils. I know we have like tons of different beans, but
No, but I think we
I didn't know that we had
lentejas
like
rojas. Yeah.
lentejas. No, I thought there was only one. Like, honest, I'm probably super ignorant on this, but I thought there was just one variety of lentils here. Here.
So we have that pasta.
Yeah.
There's one that I wanted to buy. I didn't.
What's that? Cat.
No, the
No?
corn one. I was saying
Corn pasta.
corn flour pasta.
Okay. Sounds a little less healthy.
No.
Corn
Why?
is not super healthy. Corn is like, isn't it like, I mean, never as healthy as I would say as lentils for sure.
Let me see, cause I want to.
Is corn healthy? I don't think corn is a great thing.
I think it is.
No.
Yes.
I mean, aside from the U.S. just
It's
getting all their
corn.
sugar from corn. Yeah, it's
A
corn.
big. Yeah, I was gonna sing. Um.
But nutritional value of corn, is there any? Really?
Corn has many health benefits.
Okay.
It consists primarily of insoluble fiber,
Okay.
which makes it a low glycemic index food. This means it is a food that is digested slowly and doesn't cause an unhealthy spike in blood sugar.
Okay, or not at all. You've heard my stories about corn.
Yeah. It says
Amazing.
it also contains many B vitamins as well as essential minerals, including zinc, magnesium, copper, iron, and manganese. Since corn is considered a starchy
Starchy. Okay.
vegetable,
Yeah.
people with diabetes need to keep in mind that a half cup of corn, a small
It's a lot
ear
of sugar.
of corn, contains 15 grams of carbohydrate
Yeah.
and counts as one carbohydrate food choice.
Yeah.
But it's good. I mean, I also would like to try that one, like that variety of pasta,
Mm-hmm.
because I was very into.
Not convinced though for me.
No, I am, because I think no, well, I am, yes, because I think
Yeah.
it's very cool to have, like, to think about the base of that pasta
Mm-hmm.
for the dressing you're gonna do. So if
Okay,
I
you're
think
getting,
more
like,
of like a, yeah, because I'm the one.
complicated there. Yeah.
No, because I'm cooking them. So when I buy them, I think about the preparation for them. And I was thinking that one, like the one of corn with cheese, could be really good. And I think that someone fed would like it. So, yes. But there's from corn,
Yeah.
from rice,
Okay, but yeah.
arroz integral,
Okay.
quinoa,
Okay, that one's better.
chia, like
Sounds
chia
better.
seeds, red lentils, the ones we have,
That's amazing.
couscous,
That's pretty good too.
garbanzos,
Oh, the best.
and peas. Oh, and more. I have to try them all. The thing is that I saw them for the first time the last time I went to the store,
Yeah.
and there was a girl from another brand.
Oh, trying to push the other
No,
brand.
and I was like, oh, I want to try this. And I was like grabbing 1, 2, 3, 4. Like I was like super full with those. And then she approached me
Yeah.
like, oh, have you tried these
And she
ones?
kicked you in the face.
Because they're amazing and they are blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no. And it was a different brand. And I was like, no, like I'm sorry. I just really want to try these ones. But I felt bad.
No.
So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to buy 10. Not because of her. Because also I was saying, why would I buy like 10 bags of pasta?
Oh,
So
I
I
know
bought
you.
2.
You probably felt bad.
A little bit, but
Yeah.
no. But it was like, I'm not gonna say the brand,
Mm-hmm.
but it was a brand that's not. I mean, I was looking in the healthy aisle.
Mm-hmm.
It was like gluten free, everything free, like no
Except
¿cómo digo?
preservatives.
Preservatives.
Yeah.
And the one that she was telling me,
Yeah.
because she like handed me one, and I was seeing that, and I was like, Jesus Christ, no, this has nothing to do with what I'm trying to look for.
Yeah. Oh,
So
that one probably someone fit like.
yeah. Carla Anglada was saying, sounds yummy and healthy to me. No, and the sauce was very good. It was like a veggie with like pomodoro base, but everything like from scratch. It was really good. I loved it. Uh,
You good over there?
why?
No, no, no. I felt you
I'm
like
always moving, you know.
squirming.
I'm always moving. Gio was saying, it has the juice, it
Yeah.
has the juice. Yeah.
Corn.
Wait, that was so bad. I had the headphones.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was not good. I don't know when
Mm-hmm.
I put the scarf back on.
Oh, that's your life.
Yeah. Let's see. Nicolás Olivari dice, estudiar en la academia obviamente es una experiencia increíble, pero a la vez es muy cansador y muy exigente. Sí es cierto que se quedó en el tiempo y eso es un plus porque la metodología es muy parecida a como se enseñaba hace 50/100 años, pero un poco cansado, a punto de empezar el cuarto año,
Uy, qué
de
fuerte.
6 en total, con muchas ganas, pero triste de terminar mis vacaciones. Ay, ¿y cuando retoma? Cuando se acaban las vacaciones. Y en vacaciones conoció más de Rusia. Yo ya estoy acá toda
Sí.
preguntona.
Ya le estás diciendo que si te manda un vodka.
¿Un qué?
Un vodka.
No me gusta. A ver. Si el vodka no me... Y así puro. Uy, horrible. Asif, long time ago, was saying, guys, I have to work. Stupid college getting in the way of OPL.
Stupid college. What do they
Catch you all
know?
next time.
What do they know?
Leslie Cavazos Garduño.
Gavazos Carduño. ¿Dónde estaba?
Dice, hi guys, the table and the glasses are lovely.
Thank you. Everything else, though,
Yeah.
crap.
Liet.
I always wanted Leslie to like the whole of my paintings. Like all of the painting. Never been able to. It's like my life, purpose is for Leslie one day to show up and say, you know what? I like all of it.
Liet
Yeah?
was answering to No Fear Zero about painting being pricey. And Liet was saying, it's not that pricey. Where do you live in the world? I can make recommendations on how to start cheap. And they were saying, parting mist, I have recommendations for that too. It takes me 10 minutes to clean up. Let's see. Pankernik was saying, may I ask, how do you use your palette? How do you use it and mix paints and clean it?
So it's not a good use of the palette, I have to say. I hate to admit it, but I am big enough to accept that I'm just not the person that you would want to follow if you want to see how to appropriately manage a palette. So I make little puddles of paint, which is not great. I don't premix anything. So I have little areas of color that I sort of respect. But yeah, I'm not the best at telling you this is proper painting, like proper palette management. I'm not. But I'm also of the mind that, if it's clear here and if it makes sense here and if it comes from here, then something must be working. Like if there's not a disconnect between this and this, if like a kind of crazy all over the place palette still manages to be organized when, configuring a painting, then that's how you paint. Like there's nothing you can do about it. Like nothing could tell, nobody could ever tell you anything, because it works. Like the proof is the painting, in the sense that the painting is letting you know that whatever you're doing in your palette is working. So not I'm not great. It's not a good palette. Not whenever I see people that do strings of paint or that they mix in bands of color, like with Hollis, the way Hollis kind of has his palette, or the way Sean, I think Sean has a beautiful palette practice. I just don't have that. It would feel like, I don't know, like if you were a golfer and you already golf and you golf pretty consistently, and it's almost like knowing your swing, and you know that it's kind of broken but it's great, like it works perfectly, you can hit the fairway like super straight on. Maybe you have to, like, kind of angle your shot a little bit because to compensate for your flaws, but it's good. It works. And suddenly you just meet somebody that tells you, "Oh, these are the many things that is wrong with your swing." And the next time you take a club and you try to swing, you feel like a refrigerator and it's horrible. And you just like hit the grass and tee goes flying out and it takes someone's eye out. I don't know, that
Escalated.
escalated quickly.
Yeah.
Yes, but so tragedies can happen when they change your swing, and even bigger tragedies can happen when you already have a way of working because your brain understands what you're doing in your palette.
I wouldn't say even bigger. I mean, someone can lose their eye,
I mean,
but then you
you could paint
can't
the you
get
could
to the
paint the
painting you
highlight. You
wanted.
can paint the
So
highlight with the wrong value in that eye. That's tragedy. Um, no, so it's something that I know that it's petty the way I kind of use my painting areas in my palette. It's very capricious, I feel. I could force myself to be a bit more understanding with my placement of these like puddles, or just extend the puddles. That would be, like, honestly, that would be the easiest thing to do. But I don't know. This is how I paint.
but it's
Flaws
interesting
and
because
all,
because
molds and all.
because of like long before knowing you,
Mm-hmm.
because I never in the university I never like was teached in like in palette management. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. We just like gravitated towards the way we would like to approach it, and I approached it in puddles.
Yeah.
I do think that, I mean, mine is sometimes even worse when I do, for example, gouache, because they start to dry. So I do tons of puddles. Then I clean my palette, just like put a wet towel and wipe everything, dry it, and start again.
Yeah.
So that's not like managing my palette at
Oh no,
all.
that's actually pretty good. Watercolorists have to do that constantly
Yeah, no. But
to
I'm
clean their
talking
palette.
about the puddles, and I don't see it as a bad thing. I mean, it's just, I don't know.
Maybe I'm just, again, I'm being probably harder on myself because I know what good painting what a nice palette looks like when you're painting.
But
I've always known it.
I think the people you're talking about that have good palette management, it's because they were taught that way of painting.
And they have the discipline. It's just that I honestly I don't. I don't. I mean, but I do. Like, here's the thing. Like, even though nobody's attacking me, I'm gonna defend myself. Um, the thing is, I think the fact that I feel that little bit of freedom to just, you know, do with my palette whatever I want to do. That's kind of what enables me to just approach a painting and be free from other things that I should be doing. And my brain feels at ease because I know that I can try things out. And I think that I wouldn't be the painter that I am if I wouldn't grant myself the possibility to try things out. Like I could be, I could have a perfectly clean, organized palette. I could force myself to do that, but I I know that there's no way that I can train my brain into just being more fearless,
Hmm.
because that's something that's super super abstract, like recognizing the moments that you can be fearless, like knowing what risks you're about to take, knowing what rewards you may have if, whatever risk you're taking works. um, all those assessments, I think I'm super comfortable with those, but I think I'm comfortable with those because I liberate myself from small responsibilities, that are I guess that are tied or anchored in just good traditional practice. So, yeah, I mean, take a look at this painting. This painting is painted like inappropriately. This is not like a um in many ways, if you want to understand it from strictly from something that is formal, it just would be a badly constructed painting for the sole fact that I'm painting on raw paper. But what you can't see is that raw paper, or hopefully what I wish that people can realize is that there are so many small decisions here, like tiny decisions that have to do with like the weight of the stroke that you put down, and the way painting kind of piles up, a layer piles on top of another layer, and the way painting is scratched. There are so many paint handling things that are, you know, part of the nature of the very DNA of this painting that could only happen if I, said, forget it, I'm just going to work on this raw piece of paper. Like, there's no way I could have painted something that feels the same on a traditional surface. And the reason I know this is because I've done hundreds of paintings on like traditional, pieces of linen that are either universally primed or oil primed, or I've used cotton duck canvas and I've primed it myself. Or I've used boards from, masonite boards, MDFs, wood, and I've primed those myself. I know what to expect from a surface that is properly primed. And I also now know, having worked, let's say, inappropriately on a surface, on a raw surface, I also know now what to expect and how to push things that are native to doing things wrong. And I love that. I absolutely love that. I would say, I would argue my painting simply wouldn't be if I didn't do those things that are wrong. Um, so I guess it's like something that can prove to be fruitful if you know the risk you're taking, if you know what you are sacrificing, if you know what you are hopefully, or what you are hoping to gain. If you know those things, like if you know the character of the risks that you're taking, then I think it's great. It's totally fine. And if in your resulting painting, those the 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 way in which the painting was configured, the only way it could have been configured and solved, is kind of aided by the fact that you have made those quote unquote wrong decisions, but you look at the painting and it justifies itself. Like you see it and you don't see a single, you know, flaw, in the sense, not that there's, flaws are everywhere inside an image, but flaws in the sense that you go like, oh, this was just about caprice. Like there's no real reason to do this because you could have done this through far more cogent ways, or solid ways, or balanced ways. But if you can't spot those, if what you see justifies its own existence just by the mere fact of being and representing how it came to be, then you go like, yes, paint however the hell you want to paint. If feeling that you had that liberty made you paint this way, oh my god, keep having that illusion of liberty, or that sense of liberty. Just take advantage of it as much as you want and paint, like, paint all the paintings that you want to paint because it's working. If it wasn't working, then I would be the first one to say, oh my god, my palette is dirty, my painting is dirty, my palette is unclear, my painting is unclear. I would make that assessment quicker than anyone because I know my painting. So I know that I would be the first one to say, come on, like, this is bad practice. Like, pick it up. Like, do something about it so that whatever is causing you trouble here doesn't translate into trouble here. Because in the end, honestly, who cares? Like, you get to see a painting. If a painting denotes clarity, then it may come from chaos, but in here where it's, essentially what matters in the sense of saying all the struggle here was meant to work here, then you could argue that, this kind of doesn't matter. This is very, I don't know, it's particular to every painter, I feel.
Nicolas Olivari
Yeah.
was saying, honestly, your palette is the ideal. I may be biased because I have the same approach, only even messier. A premixed or organized palette I feel is too restrictive for me.
Yeah, I love open painting. Absolutely adore open painting.
I wouldn't know. Like, I'm saying this like 100% honest
Yeah.
because of the way I approach painting, but I wouldn't know how to approach a painting if I had pre-mixes.
I've done it. I've done it.
No, and you
but
even
it's-
did it for a week here.
No, we haven't done it
Yes.
quite. Which one?
You did premixes, a premixed week,
Oh, right. But those are like super abstract.
but you did it.
Yeah. But
But
let's
no,
say,
but what I'm trying to say is that that's not how my brain works. Because when I am painting something, like, I start painting it and then I see a slight variation and I have to do it. And then I see another one and I have to do it. Like, that's how I feel like I'm like, that for me is painting.
yeah.
And maybe for someone it's like, no, I have to do all that thinking beforehand, premix everything, and then just like place it where it is, where it should be. I can't. I think my brain can't work like that.
I've often mentioned her, but Anastasia Pollard.
Mhm.
She's one of the most talented artists that
I
I've
know
ever
her.
seen. Yeah,
And
Anastasia
I've
is.
seen her paint.
Oh my god, Anastasia is like this gem. She's absurd. She's incredible. She is super methodical. She does like strings of paint. She pre-mixes her colors and then does like strings of paint. And every time we've been, and I say we because I think we both appreciate each other's company. She's, incredibly generous that she's attended my workshops, but only I feel like she's just doing me a favor because I learn a ton from her every time she goes to a workshop, and I think it's a very generous way of just saying we're gonna hang out for a week. So I'm always appreciative when talented painters such as her we find a way to meet certain after certain years and then paint together. But I painted together with her, and she's tremendous. She's absolutely tremendous. But I also feel that both of us know every time we see each other paint, we see like this beast that we will never be. Like, we see just these completely different approaches. Like, we can't be any more different. And just the pace in which we paint, she's very slow, super methodical. Her drawing is like exquisite. I mean, it is, oh my God, it kills me. Every time I'm painting right next to her, I feel like I don't know how to draw. Like, it's incredible. But that, that's where you start to understand like the character of yourself as a painter, when you're right next to somebody who's that talented, but you also start to feel strangely comfortable with who you are, even though you're very different from this person that you're comparing yourself to. You start to realize, oh, wow. I have never realized, for example, with Anastasia, I've always felt I have the fastest and clearest way of judging how much of a like mid painter heavy I am. Like my paintings are never in a high key, never. When I look at her, I always feel like, oh my God, you paint in such a high key. But in the same sense, when I look at her and then I see my own painting, I realize, oh my God, I've never realized how like more of a mid-tone painter I am. I remember feeling that once, and I remember when I did the workshop in Berkeley,
Mm-hmm.
and I was doing like a demo. We did like a demo. We were doing like painting on, we were painting on sketchbook, but we were using our sketchbook just to imagine it as a tool to try to access like a very structured way of painting. So I was, I was drawing, I was working kind of like how I'm working this painting or the paintings that we have done in the past few weeks, where I would do the drawing, we would then seal it, we would do the underpainting, and then we would try to solve it in another day just by painting. And when I started painting, and throughout all this time, people were looking at the reference that I had, and it was a picture of you. I don't know if you remember. It was outside. Was it somewhere around here? I don't know. It was like you in the sun, and there was like a little bit of a building, like bricks, and then just some foliage and some little bits of plants that were from a
Yes, I think it
building.
was right there.
Yeah,
Like in the
yeah,
entrance, I think you took the
yeah.
picture.
And it was very nice. And when as soon as I started working, somebody said, "Oh, well, not as soon as I light my first stroke, but when I had like most of the painting already,
Like
like,
structured, yeah.
yeah, somebody said, like, when are you gonna go for your highlights? Like, is that how you see? Like, why aren't you going for your highlights?" And I was thinking, like, what are you talking? In my brain, I mean, I was obviously not rude. It wasn't like an opportunity to just answer like a completely rude person, but in my mind, I was thinking, like, what are you talking about? Like, what do you mean my highlights? Like,
Yeah,
I'm
because in your
going for
brain
my
you've
lights.
already
Like,
put
yeah, in my brain, I was
everything.
like, my lights are there. Like, what are you talking about? They're there. They're right there. And no, this is the first moment that a person that saw what I was working from and saw what I painted was very confused, because in their eyes, like, they were probably like of Anastasia's village. They probably had like their little hut in Anastasia's village, and they were super happy painting high key paintings. And they didn't understand that my village, we just see midtones and, thrive on midtones, pig
Mhm.
and mud. So when they were looking at that, they just didn't understand. And I remember just trying to explain that, a painting has to work within its own rules. Like, it doesn't matter that there are other brighter or, lighter paintings. If when you look at a painting, it makes sense, then that painting is effective at, it was effective at everything, effective at communicating, what its intent was. And it was effective at using those rules that you have set for yourself and working within those rules to execute this particular image. Um, so we have to be very cautious when we are comparing paintings, because many times it's pointless. It's absolutely pointless to say, oh my God, she painted it so much lighter. It looks very nice. You must be the person that is wrong, that is in the wrong, because you painted it in the midtones. So I'm going to use my painting as an example of what you weren't supposed to do, of, let's say, like a flawed exercise. When in truth, and I'm being 100% honest here, I cannot see the way Anastasia sees.
And I'm sure she can't see the way
And
you're
she,
seeing.
yeah,
Yeah.
because when she looks at my paintings, she's like, I have no fucking way to know where you come up with all these variations of midtones. When she looks at my paintings, she's like, I don't know where you see those. Like, I don't know where those exist.
Mm.
And if all the time I smile and I think if you would be able, if you could go into my brain, you would see all of them. Like, that is just the way I see. There's like no doubt in my mind that this is not like an excuse that you make up because there is like a manner of work that you do. This is just the way you see.
Mm.
And maybe the way you see is, has been constructed with tons of like, external factors. And it has to do with where you come from and who your teachers were and just the visual culture that has surrounded you your whole life. Those things have shaped your vision and your perception. Your sensibility also, kind of modifies your perception. So there's so many variables that there's no way that you can objectively tell 20 people what we are looking at is this.
Mm.
But what you can do is create a painting where the painting itself explains what you see, explains what you are sensitive towards. Because I remember in painting class, even when we were young, we were, we could be a group of friends looking at the same model and then going to our painting and all of us just being excited about different things. All of us. Like all of us, if we were if we had to describe what was happening, up in the stand, we would describe different things because we would be emphasizing the things that moves us, the very same thing that moves us. So, those stories would just be quite different. Like that tale of I think it's like blind people that have to describe an elephant, but they each touch like different parts of the elephant and then go back and describe what they have touched, and they think that is the elephant. So maybe somebody touched the husk, and there's the husk. Is that what it's called?
No
Tusk,
sé.
tusk, the tusk, and they're describing an elephant as cold and very, very thin. ¿Cómo se dice? Liso.
Smooth?
Very smooth. And somebody else may have touched the back of the belly of the elephant and said it's rugged and it's kind of hairy and abrasive, and they both don't understand how they could be touching the same thing and describe it in very different ways. I think painting has a little bit of that. I think when you're observing something, which is probably the part that we at the beginning we don't understand that it's the most important part. When you look at something and when your brain starts to try and digest how to translate, this visual stimulus into paint. How are we going to organize this thing that is moving us into painted decisions? Like, how are we going to make that translation? That is the most important part of painting. It's not, palette management. It's not understanding color theory. Like, all those things aid you in trying to make that translation. But I think like the hardest part to learn is that one, because that one, nobody ever teaches you how to do that one. All you see when you have like teachers that are really good teachers is somebody effectively talking to you what moves them, and then they're showing you how they translate it into a painting that exhibits that which has moved them. But you don't really understand what moves you. And so that's why when we are like swept by a really cool teacher, we end up painting like them because we realize, well, she says that that's the way she paints this, and look at it. Look at her paintings. They're amazing. Why would I not paint like that?
Or
Like-
even your mind could trick you into thinking that their way of solving, because you're seeing it so effectively, as you were
Mhm.
saying, you start thinking that that's also your way
Exactly.
of handling that. Because
Yeah.
you're like, it made so much sense in my brain that it might be the way I should.
Yeah. Let's
Just
not
like-
fight it. This works. This clearly works.
Yeah.
Like this
And your
quote-unquote
brain
formula.
kind of like plays tricks and makes you believe that, yeah, that's your way.
Or we can start
when you're
believing. I'm sorry, Danny.
no.
Go ahead.
When I was gonna, I just I was just going to say that when in reality, it's not the way you would approach that if you haven't met that teacher
Right.
before.
Yeah. We
So-
start to convince ourselves that their experience is also our own. Like
Yeah, like we're blinded by the success of their approach. So
exactly, and by the effectiveness or by success, I'm sure you mean like the how efficient it is. Like they
yeah,
talk
because it
about
makes
this,
sense.
paint,
Like
they formally make these decisions. Oh my God, look at the result.
yeah, like you can like tangibly see
Yeah,
like the thinking process
right.
that
And
they're doing. So
and the toughest part, I think, in all of art is to say, well, those things I can learn. Like mixing in a palette, you can learn. Like that takes no time. Color theory, applied color theory to painting, that takes a little bit longer, but you can learn. Drawing, you can learn. It's a struggle for all of us, but you can learn. You know, all these things, any competent teacher, they can teach you. Like, there's no trick to like drawing or painting. There's not. There's great teachers that can do, a wonderful job at trying to teach you something that, it's quite abstract, and that's why it feels complex. But they can teach you. These things can be taught, and of course can be learned. I mean, the proof is that, you know, I didn't know how to paint, and I eventually understood how to paint. I had never painted, and I struggled. I did 2 years of crap painting when I started painting. So you can learn how to paint. It's not a big deal. But for somebody to teach you how to translate, you know, what moves you and how to say it through a painting, how to let a painting speak for you, when you're trying to grasp something as abstract as visualizing, the manner in which your perception is like stimulated. Oh my God, it's super, hard. That takes a lifetime if you ever get to um find a place where you feel like, oh my God, I get it now, which I don't think. I think the adventure is just hoping that lasts a lifetime, like that going for those things lasts a lifetime, but you never want to reach that place. It's kind of like when I was finishing Elden Ring. I just didn't want it to finish.
yeah,
I knew the end was like right there, and I was like, oh no, come on, after 150 hours I have to finish this game? Like, no. Cool thing about painting is that it's not Elden Ring.
and it's not finite.
Yeah, it's not. You can, every painting can be about something that pushes you in ways that you never thought that painting could push you. Or
Yeah,
you could
and
try things. Like I think I tried things with this painting. By the way, I'm done, I feel. Um, and that's why I'm talking so much. I
well, that's
really
not
like, by the
why.
way, I like this so much. I
Yeah,
thought this was going to be like a throwaway little moment of the painting. Oh my God, I love it now.
yeah, I love it too
Um,
because I was also questioning. Well, when you showed it to me in the morning,
yeah.
and I saw that space was there, I was like, maybe he wants to like put all the pink on top of it, or is he
No, no,
going
I
to
knew I
paint it?
needed a
Like I was,
shape.
no, like I was questioning how you were going to
Oh,
tackle that,
trust
and
me,
I
I didn't
I
know.
like it a lot.
It was act of faith also for me. I didn't know, but I think it's like a perfect little shape that can echo some of the angular shapes, and like this little piece speaks about how this broader, part works.
Mm.
Didn't want to have the same kind of weight with the chair
Mm.
because I just didn't want it to be like so symmetrical in the sense that there's weight here, and thinking that this was going to be just a shape, like this kind of S shape, this
Mm-hmm.
echoing shape, would, I think if it was harder, it would just grab more attention.
Mm-hmm.
So I found a way to like paint it, but not paint it, but, say, okay, that's the chair, the back of the chair, I'm done. Um, but, I would say that, no, I think I've painted complementary color painting, like paintings that are based on contrast by complementaries. So I'm sure I've painted, a bunch of those paintings. I'm sure I've painted paintings with, well, this is not bright at all, by the way. This is a pink, but it's a gray pink, if I have to say.
But it reads
But, it reads,
bright.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm sure I've painted where I've wanted to push like some accents of saturation, which are very weak up here. It seems like they're strong, but they're not super strong. I think the hands echo a little bit of what's happening with the lenses
Mm-hmm.
up there, but that's about it. I don't think that there's like it's a punchy painting. It seems like a punchy painting. It's
Hmm.
not really a punchy painting. I mean, the basis of the painting is still a Zorn palette. All of this is Zorn. Um, with the exception of some, no, actually those are like gray greens. So all of this is still Zorn, and the moment where it changes is just here, like the, literally that, like that
Viridian.
body of the painting with that
Yeah.
viridian. It does change a lot about the painting, about how we perceive the other more controlled aspects of the painting.
Can I say something I
Oh,
love?
everything.
Like I can't stop looking at that shoulder.
This one or
Yeah,
that?
no, the other one, that little part, not the right one.
Oh, this?
Yeah, that
Yeah, I
part.
did that this morning.
Ay, Nicolas, I love that.
Yeah, I liked it too.
I love it.
Cause you know what I thought?
What?
I just didn't like the. It almost felt like a little funnel, like a little, almost like a, or like a cup. If
Mm-hmm.
I took this shape and then this shape,
Mm-hmm.
just the two shapes doing this, I didn't like it. I liked that this one was always going to be a little more angular, just because her arm, our left, my mother's right arm, is resting upon, kind of like this bigger hand. Um, I thought that I wanted to speak about the weight that is put upon that bigger hand,
Mm-hmm.
and a nice way of speaking about it is like saying, well, you have to rest it on this like bigger object, let's call it that. So then you have to prop up your shoulder, like,
Hmm.
it the arm starts with that shoulder,
Hmm.
so it has to be like from way up high, and then very fragile here, very very thin. I actually really like
Hmm.
those folds there, and then it just almost like scatters, like and rests. um so I always liked the idea of this being angular. I struggled with it a lot, and please check the drawing stage and then the underpainting stage and even the painting stage, because there are small changes but very important changes to this little part of the trapezius and the shoulder. I think that's like that was super important, and I always knew that I wanted sharp, and because there was so much sharpness in her head, I know I wanted it to like almost like slide down the other arm, because the other arm is not resting upon her wrist, but it's resting on her thigh here, like a little bit of her like almost like you know where her pelvis meets her leg. So it's kind of like in that joint, but it nestles nicely. It kind of fits nicely there. So I was like, there's not a lot of like effort in that resting place. So I'm just gonna slide it off. I'm just gonna let it slide
Mm-hmm.
down. But the thing is, this curve was just too big. It was way too big. So I just needed to bloop, to just
No, I love it.
acknowledge maybe where clavicle is going to be. This
Hmm.
is such a strange place, because the clavicle actually goes around. It's a magnificent moment of the body. I mean, they all are. But the clavicle is one of those moments that travels around the body, which is
Hmm.
very strange to have like this thing that travels around. It actually connects with the scapula right there with your on your shoulder. So that little moment right there speaks about your trapezius, like getting there, your clavicle going through there and then turning, towards the back, around and towards the back and becoming the scapula, and then where your shoulder begins.
Hmm.
So there's such a strange little tense moment there in the body that it deserves to be broken, like brook, just little acknowledged and separated and broken. And I just like smushed with a finger. I did it like 12 times, by the way, just to get like just this tiny little like fluff of
Yeah, like
a shoulder.
it's like even like evaporating. I don't know
I
how to say
know,
it.
but
I
it's
love
so
it.
ridiculous because like hopefully this little moment speaks about something that is very true, at least in my experience about painting, is that I think my paintings are about the tiniest little shits that seemingly don't matter. Like when you look at them, it's
Mm.
like, who would care about this stupid little softness that you're getting here?
Yeah, like who would smudge
Yeah,
that
like
12
who would
times
care?
too?
And I would be the person to raise their hands like, oh, me, that's
Mm.
my painting. Like the most
Yes, I love it.
insignificant of like moments feels like an example, like a microcosm for my painting.
Like an exclamation
Yeah,
point
it just,
also.
well, it feels like everything that happens there is what it's what my painting is about. And I know that maybe sounds like an exaggeration, but I think
No.
most paintings that I admire, I was going to say most great paintings, but and by the way, I'm not saying this is a great painting, but I think most great paintings, most paintings that I admire, most painters that I admire, I would even say like all of them, they never ever like let like a millimeter of their painting go unnoticed. Like it doesn't go unchecked. It's almost like you have scanned your painting like, a million times, and you're painting by heart.
Hmm.
Like it. There's no way like an edge would go unnoticed. Like if something is too harsh, it. If something's too soft, it. If something's not connecting properly, it. Like there's no way anyone could ever tell you like, oh, this little part, yeah, you didn't paint that properly, or you forgot about this, and you go like, oh my god, yes, I forgot about that. It's like, dude, you weren't painting then.
Hmm.
Like if you forget what like an area of your painting, that you weren't painting, because you know them. You have searched throughout this whole painting incessantly. So I love the fact that those paintings that I admire the most, you can tell that it's not as if you're trying some of those things, some of the resulting, let's say, edges or atmospheres or layers of paint, or how two masses of paint kind of meet. I'm not saying that all of them are like orchestrated, because some of them just come from the fact that you're working, like you're just painting, but you decided to stop. And I guess that's my point. Like you decided to leave something like that, and then to touch this other part, and then to further model this other area. There's always like this knowledge that goes into your painting where you say, I know about you feeling unfinished, and I know about you feeling a little more resolved, and I know about this other area that feels harsh, but I need that. So there shouldn't be any surprises that come from a painting when like, for example, right now you would say, oh, that little shoulder,
Hmm.
that little moment of the shoulder. Like, I'm super happy that you liked it, because in some stupid, strange, pointless way, it 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 made me smudge it and repaint, smudge it and repaint, smudge
Hmm.
it and repaint over 10 times, until I was like, yeah, this is the right amount of nothingness to it
Hmm.
that perfectly fits what I wanted to say. And I think it's beautiful when you get to that place where it's not like there's a neon sign just saying, I mean, there's more of a neon sign pointing to the hands, or pointing to the nose,
Yeah, but
to the
those
glasses.
are
Those
like
are
in your face
right, exactly.
exclamation points,
Exactly.
which I think that sometimes they don't have to be that
Yeah,
to also be exclamation points in the painting.
right, right. Yeah, but yeah. So I apologize if I'm talking. I never know if people are interested when
I think of course.
I'm
I mean,
describing
I think if
things.
they're here because they
They all left.
appreciate.
Yeah. But I always think it necessary for us, to have this moment with our own paintings, and to try to assess what worked, what went wrong, to hover over all of our decisions and say, okay, okay, yeah, this is, I can leave this painting here and feel proud about it. Like,
Hmm.
feel like, yeah, this is me. This is good. This is done. I think that that's a good thing. Like,
Yes.
if you just make a painting and then you just put it aside, or you made a painting and you sell it, or you made a painting and you go and take it framed and you give it to a friend, or I think you're missing a super important aspect of painting, or any other art practice, which is that sort of stereotypical thing where you see, the artist, and she has pulled up a chair and she's looking at the painting, and it's like, minutes or hours can go by and you're just looking at the artist looking at their painting, and it's like, what are they looking for? Like, what are they looking at? And it's super important that those moments, they don't have to be the final moments. They can be moments like within the execution of the painting. That's when you're like, again, scanning everything, hovering over everything, and just saying, did that work? Why did it work? Why didn't it work? Or maybe something that you did, yeah, something that you did has now opened up doors that you never imagined were doors, that, these were manners of painting that you were like, oh, I am that painter. I can do these sort of paintings. So that's what I don't know. That's what I adore about painting. That it's not like it's almost like the painting doesn't end when you finish painting. The act of painting doesn't end there. The resulting painting, sure, sure. I mean, if you were doing this exercise hoping to configure this painting and then you finish the painting, like I've deemed it finished, I've deemed this painting finished. Sure, that's awesome. Like saying, yeah, I'm done. Woof, I'm good. I love this. Like this is what I wanted to paint. This is where this is where I understand like the finish line being, and that's fine. But I do think that most of the things that painting can teach you come from this final assessment and this looking at your work and saying, how did I go about it? Let me see how it manifested in the end. And, how can I apply those teachings when I'm hoping to go like further? How can I treat this not only as a painting, but as a springboard, as a starting point to do, new reflections or like I said, to open up, all these like tiny little different paths that you can go and decide to, walk through, and you're so free to do that. This could be like I don't know, 2 years. Like this painting could open up a door that would take you into 2 years of trying things out, and that would be amazing. That would be so cool to grant yourself that ability to say, let me try this out. Let me see, because I've fucking enjoyed doing this painting. Let me see if this is, if this can be 2 years of my life worth, kind of traveling through. And, chances are that it is. It's incredible. So you never know when doing like this tiny little exercise of a painting can, spark the beginning of a whole new series of paintings or a whole new different sort of exercises, or it can give you courage that was not there. You never know. You never know. That's why you got to let yourself paint those things. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? Just a bad painting? Who cares about a bad painting? So I always joke, if a bad painting meant like, killing a baby panda, then then it makes sense, right? It makes sense. You don't want baby pandas to die. So every time you're doing a bad painting, you're like, I should either stop painting altogether, like quit, or I should just never give myself the right to try anything out because baby panda.
Hmm.
But the truth is, what's the worst thing about a bad painting? Nothing. It's just that it's an ugly painting that stares back at you, and that's about it.
Hmm.
And it hurts, I know, but it's a bad painting. That's all. You're going to do, hundreds of those. Hopefully, you're going to do hundreds of those during your life because you need those. Nobody ever learns from just, home run after home run after home run. That's crazy. To think that that's the path of an artist, that's insane. So you need those bad paintings. Welcome them. I mean, let's not celebrate them because who fucking wants to celebrate a terrible painting? But, because they make us feel horrible. But we should be like, okay, today was a bad painting, and that's about it. Also, try to know why it was a bad painting. Like stare at it for long enough and say, why? Wait, I know all your instinct is to just tear the damn thing and throw it in the garbage. You want to punch through it. Yeah, sure. And if you want, punch through it, fine, you do you. But if you want to learn from that damn painting, from that thing that made you so irate, look at it and be like, why the hell did you kick my ass today? Like, why did you have so much power over me and I didn't know how to answer? Look at it, because if not, then it's a wasted opportunity. It'll just be a bad painting that pissed you off and nothing else. And it could be more than that. So, anyways, yeah,
Anyways,
that was it for today, Daniel Lira.
yeah. So,
Are there comments maybe that we can close with? Questions?
Lily Casas Garduño saying, not a panda. Emily Painting Elk was saying, no, not
Not
the
a
baby
panda.
panda.
Not a baby. Again, every time, if you're going to do a bad painting, think about the baby panda.
Emily also was saying, I often find myself spending more time looking than painting. My husband questions my sanity when he wanders into my studio and I appear to be doing nothing. I think that's me.
Oh,
I think that's why it also takes me so much time. I just, like, I stare
Oh, me
things
too.
I do
Yeah.
so much.
You know what? We're idiots. And that's fine. But we're not dumb. Like, I
You're
wonder,
saying we're idiots? We're
but
not
we're
dumb.
not dumb. Yeah,
I
we're
like that.
idiots.
Great way to
Thank you.
define it.
And I'm sure your husband, if he were to, stumble upon a whole studio of like 30 painters just acting weird in front of their paintings,
Yeah, they'll be
I'm
like,
sure
oh,
your
it's
husband would
not
be like,
just my wife.
okay, okay.
It's not my wife.
This
It's not
is-
only my wife.
yeah.
I feel relieved.
Yeah, this is a weird sort of relief.
Yeah.
I want to get out of here. I don't want to be with you crazy people. But now I know that
Yeah.
my wife is probably half as crazy as I thought she was.
And to close,
Yes.
Carla Anglada was saying, I feel as if she's looking at me and in her eyes I see something is familiar.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And I love that. Yeah, I wanted to read that comment because I think you can see that. And that feels very your mom.
That's very beautiful.
It feels very like tender. Very, very
Yeah.
tender. I
I've
like it a
painted
lot.
my mom, just so that people understand. I've painted my mom so many times that I'm always excited about meeting my mom somewhere else in a painting.
I love that.
I think that that's what an amazing opportunity.
I love that.
Yeah, because I know I know how I've painted her. I know what I've tried to do as a painter when I've painted her those many times. I know the result of those actions. Like, I can look at the paintings and remember every single thing that I tried to do when I was painting her. I remember. So, that's why I don't know. I guess I think with the people that I love the most, I think I can be the boldest. I mean, we've been talking about how difficult it is for me to make that connection when I work with Samu or Fer. I think I can be bolder with Samu than I am with Fer. With Fer, I'm usually careful. And the painting of the sunflowers proved to be so important for me because it's like, oh, you can be as bold as fuck if you let yourself be. Because Danny knows this about me. I used to like paint Fer with like tweezers. It's like, oh my God, I don't want to do anything. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to risk anything. She's
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
precious.
It was like a
it's
porcelain.
my baby girl. It's like,
Yeah.
why would you ever be like raw with an image of your little girl? And I don't know, that's like my dumb father side talking, but that would block me quite a lot. So, but with my mom, I'm like, fuck, my mom is like, I love trying all sorts of weird shit out with my mom. With Danny, like, there's nobody in the world I trust more than Danny. So, and she knows where all my exercises in trying to meet her in a painting come from.
Yes.
So, I always feel like emboldened and super brave and courageous, but there are moments that I don't know, I can't reach that feeling. And I was so happy. That's why maybe, I don't know how people feel about the painting of Fer and the sunflowers, but I really like it.
No,
Like,
it
it's
is
weird for me to
amazing.
say, like, I really like it. And probably, aside from being a painting that I enjoyed painting, it is a painting that I was like, I can be this strong when painting this sort of paintings. And maybe people are like, what are you talking about, dude? Like, you were always like, your paintings are always like this. But I can tell you, like, deep down, like, I know myself. And there are things I don't let myself do at times just because I'm scared. And with that painting, it may not be the boldest. Like, it's not as if it's like this example of like universal boldness. No, of course not. But it's for me. It was like important for me to see myself do certain things there that I was like, oh, I don't know if this works. And and the point of this painting is then to say that the boldness that you learned from in the last painting can only be useful if it's applied to your next painting. It doesn't have to be like the very next painting. And it doesn't have to be this escalating idea of boldness that God knows where it stops. It's not as if you're like going to be painting like Jesus at some point. No, it's not like that's not the point. But the point is to use it as like a step. It's another step in your ladder, and you're only going to be able to use it, appropriately if you decide to step on it and just reach a little bit further. So this one was like, that's why I was so eager to just say, okay, this doesn't work. Let's change this. Or, oh, I tried to do something with the nose. It's not working. It's super timid. Like, and I was like, come on, fuck it. Like, go for it. Like, just put this weird shape and try to model a nose out of that shape. But if you wanted it pink, paint pink. Like, come on, don't water it down. Same thing with the glasses. Like, if you wanted the glasses there, solve it. Like, solve it. Push yourself to solve it. If you wanted to have these discrepancy with the shoulders, do it. Push it. Show me how weird those shoulders can be. If you wanted this, kind of squished head and just jutting out, in this curve and just almost like propelling out, outside the painting, then do it. If you wanted to do those pink hands, do it. If you wanted to do that green thing, that green sweater, whatever it is, I don't know, then paint it. And when granting yourself that right to paint it, and at the same time, sort of acknowledging the responsibility of painting it and trying to make it work, you're like, I have objectives in this painting that are going to push me. I've already set objectives for myself in this painting that are going to be like, dude, come on. Like, yes, you want all these things. Now find a way to make them work, to make them, exist in this one, soul universe. I think that's so important. That's so, so important that we realize that those sort of challenges, we have to seize, we have to accept if we want to keep pushing further. Now, does that mean that because I pushed further with, or I had like this, different sort of conversation with my mother, is this a better painting than than the paintings I did before? No, I never think about them that way. And the way I think about it, which is, I think it's a very healthy way of thinking about it, is that all those paintings made this painting possible. It doesn't mean that those are bad and these are great and this one's great. Like, this one's like resting upon like the shoulders of all those martyr paintings that had to be painted, but then destroyed or then not acknowledged, just so that we could prop this one up. No, it's not that. It's just that it simply is possible because you've done the other ones. It can exist. It has earned sort of the right to exist, or the will to exist, because you did the other ones. And that's why all the other ones are so important, good and bad, hits and misses. They are so important. And so whenever I have like something like this, it's like an acknowledgement of the 50 other paintings I've done in my mother before. And sure, somebody could say, no, but I think the one you did 10 years ago, it's better. Fine, that's fine. But all my brain is thinking is like, the one that I did 10 years ago, didn't know it at the time, but it started something that made this one possible. And that to me is like super cool. That to me is like a justification in and of itself of why this one had to be painted. So anyways, Daniel Lira.
Anyways, so
We
thank you
are,
everyone. The final anyways.
Yeah, I think that's the final one.
So thank you everyone for.
You want to do the final?
No.
No.
Oh, the closing. Yeah,
Close,
I thought
close it up.
like another
Take us
speech
home,
before.
Daniel Lira.
We are home. So thank you everyone for joining us. Again, if you're new, again? No. Well, if you're new, it's the first time you listen to this. So if you're new,
Nailing it, Danny.
it would be great if you could be our company more often. If you want to do it, the best way to know when we're live is it's if you subscribe and ring the bell, because we are here almost every day, but not at the same time every day. So ringing the bell is the best solution for that, for knowing when we're gonna be live. We also have edited videos,
Yes. How many?
more than 400.
Oh my God! Are you serious?
So-
Are they anywhere? Could I see them anywhere?
In our channel. So
Oh
if you
my
subscribe,
God.
you can also
What?
get like recommendations from YouTube of those videos that we did.
Yeah. There's
So-
probably like a subscription fee, right? You guys
No.
charge? No?
No.
They're free?
Well, it's
Get out.
well, but it's my closing speech, so
I'm sorry. I'm like the hype
I'm gonna
person here.
silence your mic.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
The silent hype
So,
person.
yeah, that's it. We're gonna be here tomorrow.
Yep.
We'll be happy if you could join us tomorrow for
Thrilled.
another painting session.
We're going to start something tomorrow. Yeah?
Yes. We have a webpage.
Yes.
It's called ourpaintedlives.com.
Oh, what is in this webpage?
It's our storefront.
Store?
So you could get every
What do you have? Merch?
no.
No?
All the paintings we do are available at our webpage.
It's crazy.
So these paintings,
all of them?
Nicolas. So this painting's going
It's actually
to be
working, I think.
no. This painting's going to be available
Yes.
at our storefront,
Yes.
ourpaintedlives.com, in a bit.
Yeah, in a little bit. Give me
Yeah.
time to take a photo.
So if you say when is it gonna be available?
Yeah.
A good
it's like,
way
I love
to
this
know-
painting.
A good way to
Let
know,
me throw money at your face. When is it available?
we have Instagrams. So there's my Instagram, but in Nicolas' Instagram,
Yeah.
he's going to post the painting,
Yes.
and then you could know that he is almost
An
going
idiot.
to post it on the webpage.
Yes.
So you-
usually, yeah, I think I usually do Instagram and then
Exactly.
if I don't do it at the same time,
No, you can't do it at the same time.
oh, I'm like multitasking.
no,
like
I know
two
you.
windows open, two
No.
sets of keyboards.
You don't even have two windows because you think it's too much. Of
Yeah.
course you can.
Yeah, no, I can't deal with that.
But
But
but that would be a good way to know
yeah,
when the
taking too
painting's
long with
going
this,
to
Danny.
be available. So if you could get it, it
Mm.
would be amazing for us because that's the way that's what makes possible that we continue with our videos.
What? You're not sponsored?
No, we're not.
Oh my god.
And we don't have a big channel
no,
enough
it's small.
to live
No, it's actually crap.
from Nicolas.
It's not. We love it.
To live from it. So yes, this project is
Entirely dependent
entirely dependent
on generous people?
on people that want to buy the
You are
painting.
crazy.
So thank you everyone. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yes.
And have a great night or day, Elaine.
Afternoon
Uh,
also.
We'll
Let's
see
not
you.
shun afternoons.
Bye everyone.